Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. All right, there we go. We are live. Welcome. What an interesting evening I had. Yeah. Sorry I'm late, but as you know, I was at Booze and Brews at the 13th Child Brewery, and I have a semi-interesting story about that. But let me tell you about my week. Finishing out October, I went to the residence at Stafford for a very early event for the seniors there. And then I went to the Northfield Library, that's the Otto Burns Library, on Wednesday for a 6 p.m. talk. And then I went all the way up to, no wait, that wasn't it. That was a different one. I went to the Pemberton Senior Center on Thursday for a very rainy day, Jersey Devil talk. But then on Saturday, I drove all the way up to LBI, the place where John Bacon, Bloody John Bacon, committed the Long Beach Island Massacre. And I was at the Brant Beach Yacht Club. Now, that's not where the massacre happened. It happened up near the lighthouse at the kind of the other end of the island. But I was still in the vicinity and had a good event there. And then today was Brews and Views. So for those of you who have never been to Williamstown, the 13th Child Brewery is in the middle of Williamstown, which is an old town, so it has old streets. And the brewery itself is at a point. So there's two streets that come together at a point, and that's the entrance to the brewery right at the point there. And it's kind of a small brewery, but they have a large backyard, which is sort of their beer garden with picnic tables, and that's where we had the Booze and Brews event. Now, that was a bunch of different authors. In fact, let me see if I can find it again. Someone just posted the here. Well, they called it Beers and Fears, and this, I think the original one was called Booze and Brews. But Alexander John Ogle is here. Evening. JEC is here. Hi. Why is everybody changing their names? So these were the authors that were at the event other than me. Tim Meyer, J.C. Walsh, Frank Edler, James E. Carlson, Brian Du Bois, myself, Somer Cannon, who was definitely there, Steve Chappelle, who was definitely there, I believe, and Stephen Farkas, who was definitely there, along with his lovely wife. Some of the authors, I believe it was Frank, gave me pizza. So thank you, Frank, for the pizza. The 13th Child Brewery treated us very well. I got a free Sloppy Joe. That was delicious. I believe it was made by Hope, I think her name was. Thank you for that. And then my girlfriend came down, and she bought me a cheesesteak, a chicken cheesesteak, which I hadn't had. I don't think I ever had a chicken cheesesteak. I normally go for the beef. It was pretty good. Not as greasy. Alexander John Ogo, I missed last week's stream. Did you decide how communist Del Toro's Frankenstein is? YouTube has changed the naming rules, so our names have been rendered differently. Oh. Weird. Yeah, because you're Alex Ogle, and then that's JEC normally. Why would they do that? Strange. YouTube is always changing things for no reason. Did we decide Frankenstein? I mean, nobody even talked about Frankenstein, really. I don't even remember it coming up on the list. Alex Ogle, but it's still pitch Sydney Sweeney ideas, or I will change to Anya Taylor Joy instead. You could choose either one. As far as I'm concerned, you know who you should pitch is Livy Dunn. If you haven't seen Livy Dunn, you should. Now, Livy Dunn is not an actress yet. She's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. But I would put her in. I would put her in a movie. Yeah, in a hot bikini. But anyhow, so we're at Williamstown, and we're in the beer garden area, and the girlfriend's there with her friend from her apartment building who she brought down, and we hung out for a little while, and then my girlfriend and her friend had to leave, so they left. Now at that point, it was still daylight out, and I was talking to a gentleman from PhilCon, which is the oldest science fiction con in America, PhilCon, out of Philadelphia. And I think he's a local, and he was just chatting me up to maybe come to PhilCon. JC, Frankenstein was a Netflix thing. Oh, that's why. Alex Ogle, oh yes, she needs a pitch. Well, she has a boyfriend who is I believe he's a professional baseball player, or like he's in the minor leagues. Dude's tall, I'll give him that. Never seen him without a smile on his face since he started hooking up with Livy Dunn. So, yeah, he's lucky dude. Lucky dude. Livy is a total smoke show. And an actual athlete, too, which is good for Sports Illustrated. Like, Sports Illustrated, not for nothing, back in the 80s, you know, they basically just would put hot women, not necessarily sports stars, hot female sports stars on their covers, you know, for the swimsuit edition, which I was fine with. But then they started doing weird stuff more recently where they put fat chicks and trans women on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which we weren't too happy about. And then finally they went back and then they hired Livy Dunn, and now I believe she's the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. Jesse, SDF, yo dudes, it's been a while. YouTube shadow ghosted these streams. They did? Why? What did I say this time? Shadow ghosted. How did they shadow ghost my streams? What did I do now, YouTube? Was it, well, I'm afraid to even say. I'm afraid to even guess. I know one time we were looking at the John Mulaney clips, and I got demonetized for that. But that seems relatively minor faux pas. Plus, I got demonetized anyway, so I don't know why I would be ghosted. No wonder. It's weird. Weird. I did notice a drop-off. JC, probably was my fault. I don't know. Somebody made a pretty spicy joke about 2 or 3 weeks ago that I only read part of. So, anywho, so we're at the 13th Child Brewery in the beer garden. And suddenly, now normally I've gone to the 13th Child a bunch of times. And it's always been packed with people drinking beers and having a good time. Well, I don't know, maybe it's the weather. There wasn't that many people, but it was a decent crowd. They were buying lots of books, I'll tell you that. And it slowed down a little bit. And then suddenly, a group of people on the street started walking past the beer garden. And there's a sidewalk right there in the street. Now, normally, nobody really walks past unless they're there to get the beers. These people were screaming at somebody that had already passed by us. And one woman who looked very, how do I describe it? Weather beaten. And she had a flip phone, and she was screaming in the phone that her son was being threatened by a guy who had already walked past the building and had been threatened with a gun. Yeah. So I sort of perked up because I had been talking to the guy from PhilCon, and I'm like, wait a minute, did she just say gun? And at that point, there were all these people there, and they were screaming in the direction, like kind of past the building behind us, because I had my back against the brewery. And we were like, what the hell's going on? And a couple of these people came into the beer garden, but it turned out they were just coming into the beer garden to have cover, like I already sort of naturally had where I was sitting from the brewery, because I think they were worried about being shot. Now, I kind of like hesitated and looked at the PhilCon guy, and we were kind of like trying to process this and figure out, should we be calling the cops at this point? And then they walked past the 13th Child, and there was more arguing, and then we were kind of like, well, maybe I won't call because maybe it's none of my business and maybe they are just saying things. And then about a minute later, cop cars everywhere. So the local cops are, I believe it's Williamstown, and then the Monroe Township Police. Suddenly, and they've got like a super sporty, one of those sporty chase cars. That one came down the street with the lights blaring and everything. And then I was like, oh man, somebody must have had a real gun. And so then the cops were everywhere, and someone across the street where we parked our cars got arrested. But we didn't get the full story. So that was my exciting moment. And then I told the story of the Jersey Devil around a campfire because it got a little chilly and they lit a fire. So I did some of the Jersey Devil story and calmed everybody's nerves. So really, in a way, I was the hero. But more accurately, I was just there, eating a lot of food. So that was my day at Williamstown. So it was pretty good. It was a pretty good October. Sold a lot of books. I had a problem with my bank, so I'm having a little money issues with my bank, but that's supposed to be straightened out this week, so hopefully. But I got some more stuff coming up. But the more important thing is we're here to talk about movies. And we've got probably one of the most... it's kind of a devastating week in movies. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, this is the beginning of November. This is not typically it's not the best week in movies, but it's not supposed to be horrible. It's getting kind of cold. People should be going in to see movies, right? Nope. This is just a train wreck. This is even worse. This is worse than the anime beating everybody. Alex Ogle, so brave, Tony. But I bet Little Joan displayed the most valor. Little Joan was home. And now she's sulking because I didn't take her for a WALK yet. So she was here to guard the house. But look at this. Look at this mess. The number one movie was number 2 last week, and it's called Regretting You. I don't even remember this movie from last week, but this is now the number 1 movie in America at $8.1 million. I'm a little surprised. I don't know about you. It's a romance movie, and it has made $50 million. So I bet it didn't cost $50 million to make. Probably cost... I never heard of anybody in this movie, so let's see. Director Josh Boone. Oh, it's a Colleen Hoover thing. That's why. That's why they made this thing. Alex Ogle. Little Joan guards your house with her repertoire of racist jokes. Yes, bringing any potential attackers to tears. Oh, Dave Franco's in it. JC couldn't put some horror movies out for Halloween. Yeah, I mean, but this is Colleen Hoover, who is very well known amongst the ladies who read books, mostly romance books. So this is the same movie, or same author who wrote the movie that Blake Lively was in, that there's a big lawsuit about. And there's a couple other books she's wrote. For some reason, she complains that she's broke, which I find hard to believe, because now she's had 2 seemingly hit movies based on her books. So if she's broke, her agent sucks. At JEC, it's true. I hate horror films, but the year seems very light on them. There have been a lot made, but they're just not getting released. Number 2 is Black Phone, which is a sequel, but it is a horror movie. Black Phone 2. Dropping or raising from 3 to 2 for $8 million. So, but Regretting You has only dropped 41% in its second week. So this thing has legs. It's probably already in the black because I can't imagine Dave Franco cost a lot of money to be in a movie, so it's already at 50 million. I'd be surprised if this thing cost more than $30 million to make. So I think that's pretty much broken even, or real close to it. And probably within the next 2 weeks, it'll make some money. Alex Ogle, perhaps Halloween next year can have the ultimate horror films to libtards with some base stuff. I think, with regard to horror movies, part of the issue is the same thing with regard to comedy movies. They both rely on surprise, and they both rely on a shared sort of common experience. More so comedy than horror, but to some extent horror. So the kind of horror movie you could do now, like, they just seem to be repeating stuff they did in the 80s over and over and over again, with a handful of exceptions. And they really need to come up with some new stuff, or, like I do, research some old folk tales or some ghost stories. I mean, they haven't done any of the ones in South Jersey other than the Jersey Devil, and they've never done it right. And there's literally hundreds of them. So, Kraken is here. Hello, Kraken. Hello. I have not enjoyed a horror movie since the 80s when I was a teenager. The Shining is one of my faves. I like The Shining a lot. The Jack Nicholson one. It's a recent horror movie I liked. I mean, I love zombie movies, but I don't really consider them horror. They're kind of a genre onto themselves, and they're not very scary. They're more fun than scary, I think. Especially the ones that I like. I mean, if you've never seen Peninsula, you have to see Peninsula, because it's just crazy. You have a crazy car chase in it. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head. Number 3 is Chainsaw Man. So this was number 1 last week. It drops to 3 in its second week, dropping to 67%. Now this is anime, so this one not having any staying power. 67% is a big drop. Kraken. Every weekend, my friends and I would go see those really bad horror movies like Friday the 13th, Freddy, Halloween, and the like. B movies. Yeah, they don't really release those anymore, is part of the problem. I think they should, like I said, they should take advantage of the system they have now, especially AMC, and dedicate like 2 screens to just rotating a bunch of movies you never heard of, and just give them a little bit of distribution, because one of them might just hit. You never know, and then you can always move that to a screen by itself and make some real money. But I don't know the specific numbers on doing that. Maybe it's unaffordable or unrealistic. But it seems to me they need to do something to mix things up. And besides the fact that the whole movie-going experience is total ass. JEC, yeah, most of the horror movies I revisit over and over again are from the 80s. Reanimator, From Beyond, Return of the Living Dead. Yeah, and they're remaking that, which they're never going to recapture that. It's just dumb to remake it. That was a movie of its time. Return of the Living Dead. I would totally see a sequel to it, like, Return of the Living Dead Part 4. Just go on with the franchise and, do something different with it, but do something modern with it. Do something like that calls back to the first movie, and then just take it from there. Because nobody really saw the sequels. Chainsaw Man, though, coming in at number 3. I mean, it already made all its money overseas, so. Number 4, up, such a weird list. It's up from 14 because they dropped it in a bunch of theaters now. So this is their attempt to sort of game the second week ticket sales. So this is really the first week for this movie, technically. So we'll take a look at it next week. But this is Yorgos Lanthimos, continuing to screw around with Emma Stone's career and Jesse Plemons. Begonia is about some female CEO who gets kidnapped by a couple of idiots. One of them's Jesse Plemons. And they shave her head bald, and they're convinced she's an alien, and they're going to kill her. And then she escapes, and I'm sure goes super girl boss on both of them, or something like that. I don't know. Kraken. Not sure what year Kurt Russell version of The Thing was released, but I love that movie. It's so good. It's just so good from beginning to end. It's one of those movies, man. There's no fat on that movie whatsoever. Everything that happens in that movie happens for a reason. There's not one single scene you look at and go, why are they showing me this? Like a lot of movies today, you're just watching a scene going, what? What the hell is this? It has nothing to do with... I don't know why I saw that. Not The Thing. The Thing is like, boom, 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 boom. Every scene just drives it forward. That's how you make a movie. Jesse, Friday the 13th and Halloween are more dumb slashers than horror, in my opinion. The first Halloween is good, I think. It's as good as a slasher's gonna get. JC, there are sequels. I remember I had to watch Return of the Living Dead Part 3, Living Dead Girl, for a commission. Ugh. Chainsaw Man's design is such a brilliant design. I had thought of it, but the actual plot of it is very weird, very Japanese. Yeah, I think it's a demon, right? Or a demon that possesses the dude. Yeah, it's a crazy looking character. Number 5, Back to the Future. Wait a minute. I've heard of this movie. Back in theaters to make $4.7 million. Yeah, this is, again, like, you should have one screen dedicated to old classic movies. You can run Back to the Future, run whatever the hell you want, you know? Alex Ogle, horror movies pitch, The Voice, visiting a house left to her in a will, Sydney Sweeney in a bikini is troubled by a recurring voice saying base things like 50% of the violent crime. Alex Ogle, causing her to look up the origin of the sayings and agreeing. Eventually, she tracks down the source of the voice, which is a ghost, played by Livy Dunn in a bikini. Thank you. Who resides in the shower stall, being kept permanently wet. The only way to free her is for Sydney to join her in the shower. I wasn't sure where you were going there, but you really hooked me in with the ending of that. Yeah, let's greenlight that. JEC, wish I had thought of it. Number 6, dropping from 4, is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. $3.8 million in its second week, dropping 57%. Yeah, how do you like that, boss? Even the mainstream entertainment press is saying that, said something like Bruce Springsteen biopic too boring to have any legs, or that his bio is too boring for a movie. The problem is it was way too early to do this. He should be dead, or actually you should have done it 20 years ago when the album was still kind of hot. I mean, to do it now, guy's 72, and he's making ridiculous statements about politics, in my opinion. Alex Ogle, I saw a fantastic AI video ostensibly advertising Nike, but turning into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hilarious. I saw that one. Yeah, it's all about the... I don't want to give it away. You should look it up if you haven't seen it. It's very funny. Yeah, that's a really good video. Yeah, so Springsteen... this is, I think, part of the trend of what started with Taylor Swift. But see, Taylor Swift is current and very popular. I would have greenlit a Taylor Swift movie, concert movie. First off, they're easy to make and cheap to make because they're already filming every concert they do now, wherever they go. So it's just a matter of cutting a deal with the record company and Taylor and saying, hey, we want to release this in a wide release movie situation, have all your fans see it. Usually you do that at the end of the tour. It's like a best of footage from the last couple of concerts or whatever. Sure, that's a no-brainer. But Bruce Springsteen, he's 72. His best days are kind of behind him. Yeah, he's still on tour, and maybe he's okay in concert still, but I mean, some of the E Street Band has died of old age. If you were going to do, a concert of one of his great, a concert film of maybe his great concerts over the years, maybe, but it's kind of too late. The Springsteen fan base would be my age, and people my age aren't going to the movies. We're done. We're not stupid enough to get roped in. Well, I'm stupid enough, but most of us aren't stupid enough to get roped into paying, $30 to go see a movie with your spouse and then blowing money on food, and it turns into a $50 night. You might as well go to a restaurant. Ooh, I went to a great restaurant called Victory Lane in Berlin, New Jersey. My uncle recommended it to me. He said I had the best burger in South Jersey there. And I was like, oh, I really need a good burger. I haven't had a good burger in a while. And he was right. They're really good. So if my choice is to pay $50, because we went, and it's very affordable too. Me and my girlfriend went. And for $50, we both had a fabulous, fabulous burger each. And, with drinks and everything. $50. It was under $50. With tip, it was more, but why would I pay $50 for us to go see Springsteen deliver me from nowhere? Unless I was a giant Bruce Springsteen fan. Even then, I would rather watch it at home so I could tape it if I'm a Springsteen nut, or I'd buy the DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. Like, just not a lot of reason for people to go to the movie theater anymore. It's just not. JEC, most Springsteen diehard fans are probably dead by now. I would say most Springsteen fans would have been younger than him, or around his age. His age or younger. So, yeah, some of them are dead, but a lot of them are my age. Because he would have been in his 30s, and his fan base would have been in their 20s. Alex Ogle, what happened to the one who acted in The Sopranos? The one that acted in The Sopranos. Do you mean... I'm not sure who you mean. The one that acted in The Sopranos. That's a lot of people. Well, there's one guy who acted in The Sopranos, and he was involved in a road rage incident on Jimmy Leeds roads in front of Stockton College in the Pine Barrens. And I believe he was arrested. So if that's the guy you're talking about, he's in trouble. James Gandolfini is dead. Paulie Walnuts is dead. Christopher is acting in various things. He's also a little bit of TDS on that guy. Oh, who else? Oh, Steve Van Zandt. He is alive. He is alive. And still playing in the E Street Band. Jesse, man, there was this restaurant that was 15 minutes away, and it had amazing burgers. I celebrated my 17th birthday with some female friends. Good times. Sadly, it relocated to 30 minutes away. Well, that's 30 minutes total? I'd drive 30 minutes for a good burger. JC, James Gandolfini, he's dead. Yeah, Steve Van Zandt, Mr. Bandana. Yeah, he's still playing in the E Street Band. So I guess there's a guy who plays him in Deliver Me from Nowhere. So it wasn't like, more people might have went to see it if it was just a standard biopic. But Springsteen's still alive. So, and he's still touring. So it feels like a commercial for his concerts. It's too early. Number 7, dropping from 5, Tron Ares is still making money. 2.8 million. This is proof that people don't really follow movies anymore because they're still going into theaters thinking, oh, I'll go see Tron Ares. It's been in the theaters a month and you haven't heard? You haven't heard about Tron Ares? Okay. You go. You go. You haven't asked one person? You haven't asked your one friend who follows movies? Or Tron? Hey, is that Tron Ares movies worth seeing? So, I can't believe this thing isn't already on Disney Plus. They got so trashed in the reviews. Number 8, the first new movie on the list, Stitchhead. 2.1 million. So this is some kind of puppet cartoon thing. And somehow I missed the trailer for this. The story of a small, forgotten creature living in a long-abandoned castle. Awoken by a mad professor, Stitchhead is tasked with protecting the professor's other wildly invented creations from the suspicious townspeople of Grubber Nubbin. It sounds like a kid's version of Frankenstein, only the Frankenstein monster is the good guy, and the townspeople must learn to accept them for their differences kind of thing. That's what it sounds like to me. Jesse, for the life of me, I bloody hate this film. I hate Ares. Did you see it? Because Indy Phantom saw it, I believe. He calls it a Tron arse. Yeah, everybody gave it. I don't know one outlet that gave it a good review. So everybody panned it. It's a shame because the trailer looks cool. The effects looks really cool. It looks like it had promise to bring the Tron world into our world. That looked like it had promise. But no. No. Look. The first movie, I love the first movie. The second movie, though, was complete and utter baloney, malarkey. So I don't know what anybody expected. I was shocked that Jeff Bridges agreed to be in the third one. They must have pulled the money truck up to his house and said, "What? Take what you want." But yeah, he was in it too. Probably wasted. I mean, didn't he hear Jared Leto was in it? Didn't he know? Jared Leto should just retire. That would be funny if he just retired. Jesse, I saw the trailer and the first thing I thought was like, isn't this just Adam Sandler's Pixel? Yeah, but it was like serious Pixel. Like it looked like they were going to kill people. Like that would have been cool, right? So you can imagine like a speed bike driving through like cop cars and killing all the cops or something. That would have been like badass. But yeah, they didn't do that. Or like the giant tank machine or whatever the hell it is with the two legs. You know, they had like real tanks fighting it. Like that would have been cool. You know? And then the giant feet come together and like smash flat the tank. That could have been really cool. I mean, If I wrote it, it would be cool, but I didn't. Disney won't hire me. Probably all the times I said they suck ass. Indie Phantom is here. Box office from hell. Yeah, it really is. Look at this. Look at this mess. Number 9 is Good Fortune, dropping from 6, dropping 55% in its third week, 1.4 million. I was really rooting for this movie because of Aziz Ansari directed it, and I think he wrote it, and I think it's probably halfway decent. So, one comedy movie on the list. I don't like to support Seth Rogen, but I will watch this on stream probably when it comes to some kind of streaming platform I have. Regrettable You tops Halloween? Yes, it does. Regretting You, yeah. Regrettable You. Jesse, the Recognizer was the flying thing with the 2 feet. Oh, is that what it's called? Is it called the Recognizer? I forgot if I ever knew that. The Recognizer. Yeah, that has a cool name to it, too. They probably could have done something with that. Imagine the Recognizer going around a real city and just smashing all the buildings. It would have been cool. Alexander Ogle. Ha! I just typed Tron into my Bell Media app, and it returned Tron Legacy, and Leatherface. Why the last one? Because the French title required in Canada is Massacre à Tronquis. That's weird. Next up, number 10. Dropping from 8, One Battle After Another. Still over $1 million. 1.15 million. And let's see what the total is on this bad boy. Because I can't imagine. Oh, it looks like it may have finally broke even. Nope. It's at 190 and the budget was 140. So, nope, not breaking even. It's DOA. Number 11 is Roof Man. This is the inoffensive, rom-com with Channing Tatum and Kristen Dunst. $1 million in its fourth week. This is, again, more meat and potatoes, but it's not doing very well. 25 million. Yeah, probably not a win, but more content for Paramount, I guess. Number 12 is Bahubali, the Epic. Now, this was a Bollywood film. It's actually 2 films that the director took and re-edited, so it was one big film. But I believe it's 3 hours and 58 minutes. It's like a beast. But it's the same guy who directed RRR. So I might actually watch this movie, but I'm not going to go to the movie theater. I don't have that kind of bladder. $837,000. Indie Phantom. Back to the Future was a summer release back in 85, so don't even get this re-release date. I think they're just desperate at this point to re-release anything. But, I mean, it's not a bad idea. Like, again, you could have one screen in the AMC because of their network dedicated to classic movies and just run 6 different movies a day. You run Back to the Future, you run, just pick 5 or 6 different movies each day to run them and then print the schedule. It would give people a reason to come back to the movies. You got to do something. Instead, you just run one. Okay. JC, I see the lefty artists keep talking about One Battle After Another, but all the stuff they cite as positives make it sound so cringe. Yeah, it is cringe. Oh, I gotta undo my belt because it's digging into my gut. Ah, whew. Ate too many burgers this weekend. That's better. Yeah, One Battle After Another, they are really pushing hard for an Oscar or several Oscars. And the word is they are going to push that into, you know, every possible Oscar they can realistically do. Now, maybe they're going to give, maybe it's because they want to give Leo, Best Actor or something. But I don't know. Indie Phantom, Roofman is a streamer. Yeah, pretty inoffensive. But back in the day, that would have been something to take your date to. You know, something like Roofman. You could both kind of laugh at it, and it would end with a positive sort of note with a couple getting together, and that's like sort of a good association on a date. And then you go out for drinks or whatever, but people just don't do this anymore. There's just no reason to take a date to the movie theater. The whole experience is just too terrible. Like, maybe if you could get drinks, a high-end experience where you could get drinks and watch the movie, maybe, but it's just not going to work. Alex Ogle, whatever happened to Kirsten Dunst? She was hot stuff for a while. She's not hot anymore. She's gotten older, so she's making the transition to mom, hot mom, and like adult love interest in this case. So she's not going to be able to play like super hot girl next door anymore. She's going to be playing hot mom at best. And nobody has box office anymore. The money didn't make any money. She doesn't have box office. Channing Tatum doesn't have box office, and he should have it. And that would have been a perfect movie for the Magic Mike crowd to go see, because it's mostly women, and that's a movie that would appeal to women. But they don't seem interested because Channing Tatum's not taking his shirt off, I guess. Although he is naked in it, so not like full frontal nudity, but he is naked in the scene. Oh, and Peter Dinklage is in it too. Indie Phantom, would a Deep Throat re-release work? Well, I don't know. I think I don't know if they would think the women are hot now that were in the movie back in the 70s. Because I'm remembering the women in that movie weren't that hot. So you might have to remake that movie. Might have to go through the 70s again. But I think we passed that point. I think the left had a window of time to reintroduce porn in the mainstream, in the movie theaters, and they decided not to do it for whatever reason. So that was back in the 70s. They were this close to making porn mainstream. Every movie theater in the area had at least, well, I shouldn't say they had their own porn, but like there was enough porn back in the 70s. I remember looking at the newspaper. I'm really dating myself here. So I would look in the paper to see what movies were playing, but there was always a section for porn movies playing at some of the local theaters. Now, they weren't playing in the same theaters. They tended to be in their own theaters. So, like, it was either some rundown theater that no longer could attract a mainstream audience that would switch over to porn to sort of save itself or make money, or it was just some sleazy place. But there was this like tiny window of time in the 70s where like one of the drive-in movie theaters, and I forget which one, I think it was in Pennsylvania, played a porno. And I know this because when I was a kid, me and my family were on a trip out in Lancaster, and we drove past the theater that was playing that movie, and I caught a glimpse of something, some nudity on the big screen. They had the screen positioned in such a way you really couldn't see it from the road, except for a couple of seconds if you happened to be looking in that direction. And I happened to be looking in that direction because I saw a sign like for drive-in theater, and I thought, oh, I wonder what's playing. I wonder if I could see the screen from here. And then we went past the screen, and I saw like naked people just for a second. And then later I heard that that was a porno that they were playing. Now, I don't know if it was a completely unedited porno, but I remember looking going, that doesn't look like a regular movie. But I was a kid, so like back then I wasn't sure what I was looking at. I just thought, oh, maybe it was just an adult movie. But it was a crazy time. Alex Ogle. Tony loosening his belt reminds me of Homer Simpson suing the all-you-can-eat bar. Yeah, remember he's like, goodbye, belt. Yeah, I actually took the whole belt off. It was too uncomfortable. Indie Phantom. One suck after another. JEC. It was before adult film stars discovered exercise and waxing. Brutal. Yeah. Like, yeah, they were not. Yeah. Indie Phantom. My dad saw Deep Throat at a multiplex while I was at the Shaggy Dog. Yeah, Deep Throat, and I think there was one called like Beyond the Green Door, and I think there was maybe one other. They were trying to make them mainstream. There were articles in the trades at that time, and the idea was like, no, these aren't just porno movies. These are like real films with adult scenes in them. And, you know, we've talked about Caligula, and there was a couple other movies that were kind of like soft porn that, you know, were pushed as pretentious art movies and erotica, but they never really crossed over for whatever reason. Jesse, man, the 70s were wild, bro. I thought my generation was crazy. It was nuts. The 70s, like, I'm no longer a fan of Bill Burr, but Bill Burr made this cartoon called F is for Family, which takes place in the 70s when he grew up. And it also takes place in a Philadelphia suburb. And let me tell you something. The show is amazingly accurate for a cartoon about stuff in the 70s. So, for instance, the kids in the show just go to play in the woods, which is something I did. Like, you know, my family would just be like, go outside. And I'm like, where? Just go somewhere. And we'd go outside and, you know, we wouldn't stay in the yard. We'd take off and go places. I walked through woods, you know, a couple of miles from my house. Nobody knew where the hell I was. I could have hit my head and drowned in a river. I could have been abducted. Nobody would have found me. But we did that stuff all the damn time. But like, yeah. So in F is for Family, the kids go back in the woods and they're like jumping up and down on boards with nails sticking out of them and throwing rocks, and that's the kind of stuff we did. Me and my friends one time, we went to like some alley and we found a bunch of bottles and we were just breaking bottles in this alley near like a dumpster. We weren't throwing them in the dumpster. We were throwing them on the ground because they wouldn't break in the dumpster. We wanted to see them go psh. JC, after home video became a thing, there was no point in having porn in theaters. Prawn in theaters. Yeah, right. I should be saying that. That's why I'm getting ghosted on the live streams. Yeah. Once it became a home video thing, everybody could make prawn easily and distribute it and make a ton of money. And the people who, and this was actually a thing, people would go to theaters because it was the only place they could see prawn, and they would wear overcoats so they would be naked underneath so they could do stuff to themselves underneath the overcoat, if you know what I'm saying. That's how Pee Wee Herman got caught. They would do that in the movie theater. And that's why those places were disgusting, and why nobody else would go in them other than the people who wanted to beat off to porn, and that was the only way they could do it. Obviously, after you had videotape, you wouldn't have to risk being caught in a theater with your wang in your hand. So obviously you would do that at home, but apparently Pee-wee didn't get the memo. Alex Ogle. The left wouldn't reintroduce porn unless they could target it at children, and it's still slightly too early for that. Only slightly, though. Indie Phantom. Drive-ins even had heaters back when more were open year-round. They would play horror and adult trailers even before family pics when I was young. Behind the Green Door, Maryland Chambers. Yes. Caligula is a rough watch for all kinds of reasons. Yes. Saw a theatrical revival around 2010. Let's Go Bottle Breaking and Touch Grass. I remember trying to get into Bolero as a kid. Fail. I think I tried to get in to see Bo Derek in 10. I really wanted to see Bo Derek. Jesse, so basically, the Yank It from Family Guy? I'm not familiar with the Yank It. I guess. Does he wear an overcoat? Because that was sort of the trope. But, and they had all those kinds of porno theaters in Times Square in New York. That was a big issue. And that was constantly a problem. But then all those places disappeared. There was no, just like JEC said, there was no reason to go after home video sales happened. And that's why they didn't go mainstream. Because then you could go home and do whatever you want to yourself. JC, I like Malcolm McDowell from Caligula. Yeah, well, what he does to that one centurion is brutal. All right, moving on to Shelby Oaks. I don't know what this is. I think it's some kind of horror movie. Yeah. A woman's obsessive search for her missing sister leads her into a terrifying mystery at the hands of an unknown evil. 4 million in total worldwide. Doesn't look like it's doing too well. Only 92,000 in the international box office. In its second week, it dropped 67%, 770,000. Well, there's your other Halloween movie, and it's not doing well. Jesse, it was a joke where it was a blanket with stitched on arms so you can yank it to ScarJo without looking indecent. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Right. Yeah, so I believe Critical Drinker has a video on the Shelby Oaks movie. I don't think he liked it. The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, is back in theaters for some reason for only $590,000. It's hardly worth it, but again, might as well put all kinds of old movies back in the theaters. Older people are likely to go, I mean, not older, not my age, but like people in their 30s and 40s, people who still remember going to the movies, might go back to the movies to catch something they didn't see or liked. Like the Twilight movies, if you did like a Twilight marathon. The Conjuring Last Rites, which is okay, but I saw it on streaming for a lot cheaper, $410K. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie, Infinite Castle, blah, 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 did $350,000 in its 8th week, dropping from 15 to like 16. Truth and Treason dropping from 11 to 17 from Angel Studios. $306K. It Was Just an Accident. This movie I want to see. It's an Iranian sort of thriller movie, 210K. And its third week. They're putting it in more theaters. I don't know if that's really going to help it. Carter Chain is here. Millennials are the demo for old movies. Probably. Yeah. Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, 200K. Go away, Gabby's Dollhouse. Soul on Fire, 175K in its fourth week. If I had legs, I'd kick you. 172K in its fourth week. This is a terrible title. It's just, the whole thing seems like a waste of, with her life crashing down around her, Linda attempts to navigate her child's mysterious illness, her absent husband, a missing person, an increasingly hostile relationship with her therapist. I guess this is supposed to be a comedy, but I'm still not sure after watching the trailer. I'm not sure why something like this, gets a 4-week distribution, and there seems to be plenty of other trailers I've seen of movies. Like, I just saw this one called Predator Wastelands, and it basically looks like an 80s version of the Predator if he showed up in Mad Max times, which is a great pitch. And if they actually did Predator versus Mad Max, I would pay to go. I would go back to the theater to see that. 100%. That is an instant $1 billion, Hollywood. There, I gave you the formula. Mad Max versus the Predator would 100% work on every level. But they'll never do it. And it would have to be Mel Gibson, but they'll never do that either. But this movie, Predator Wastelands, and it is called that. I saw the trailer for it. It looks like it was made in the 80s. Like, the effects are really cheap. But it's kind of a fun little B movie. But even that, put that in the movies and somebody will go see it. It's not going to make a lot of money, but at least you'd have something different in the theaters. Something guys would go see with their friends, I think. Jesse, I don't know, but I got hooked on watching Korean-made Korean war films for a short time. A lot of them were like 60s, 70s film. Predator versus Batman, another Family Guy joke. That was a real comic. They did that comic, Predator versus Batman. It wasn't bad. Wasn't great, though. A little too full of itself, in my view. To me, almost nothing will top Predator 2 with Danny Glover. Danny Glover versus the Predator, to me, fills me with so much joy to watch. But yeah, Mad Max versus Mel Gibson versus the Predator. Man, I would want to see that. Oh, I would see that all day long. And it would work. Like, it would work in the Predator world, because the Predator comes to hostile environments. And you could set it in the future, because it is in the future. And that you could give the Predator a new weapon. Oh, there's so much you could do with it. You could have the Predator kill a bunch of those dudes with the mohawks. It would be hilarious. What else? The Strangers, Chapter 2. Tiresome, but they're putting it in more theaters, everybody. 170K. Why? Why are you putting it back in the theaters, Lionsgate? As a company, it's disappointed me. I bought 2 shares of Lionsgate. This isn't financial advice, by the way. And I regret it every time I see the word Lionsgate. Violent Ends, a new movie, 120K, premiering in 700 theaters. That doesn't seem like enough money. That seems like very little money. Violent Ends. Lucas is an honest man brought up in a crime family. Oh, wait, I think I saw this trailer. Whose only legacy is violence. In his southern revenge thriller, star-crossed lovers set against the backdrop of the Ozark Mountains. This could be good. Alex Ogle, Predator versus Mad Max is an intriguing concept, but how do we work Sydney Sweeney in a bikini into it? Oh, that's easy. So there's always a guy in the Mad Max films who's like the leader, right? The guy in the hockey mask from the second one, the guy with the gas mask from the more recent incarnation. You just have one of those leader type Mad Max warlords that has a bunch of bikini girls. He has a harem, and you can have them all. You have Livy Dunn, Sydney Sweeney, Anna de Armas. You have them all in bikinis, in chains, like the slave layers. Oh, that'd be hilarious. And that's why it'll never be greenlit. Indie Phantom. Violent ends. Yeah, it sounds good, though. I mean, it sounds like it's watchable. The Mastermind, which I'll probably watch on some stream. $86,000 in its third week. That's done. Indie Phantom, I'm becoming more of a Sweeney in a gown guy. She looks good. She still looks great. Livy Dunn, though. Phew. Just blow the back of your head off. You just look at her. The Bad Guys 2. Still in theaters, $60K. Casper still in theaters, $30K. Good Boy. Still in theaters, $19.9K. Wish that had done better. That's a good movie. Indie Phantom. Sweeney in Black Snake Moan remake. That could be pretty funny. Alex Ogle at Indie Phantom. She does wear a gown. Well, it's true. Yeah, see-through one. Jesse. Really? Dang, dude. I have 2 comics. X-Men Atlantis Attracts, issue 3, with Mr. Jip, and Justice League of America Buried Alive. I think it was 9/11 thing because it was released 9/11/07. Yeah, now New York will be run by a guy who who is a total communist and looked like he was one of the assistants on one of the planes. Yeah, I don't know, man. New York is doomed. But in terms of comics, yeah, Batman versus Predator's okay. It's not great. If you want to read a good comic, I enjoyed The Watchmen. Some people poo-poo it, but I think it's good. All great art is unconscious, and even though Alan Moore borrowed from a lot, it's still a pretty good story. If you want to check out one of the characters he borrowed from, you should check out Steve Ditko's independently produced comic. He did this character called, I believe he's called Mr. A. I think that's his name. It's really interesting comic because he sees things, and this was Ditko attempting to. He was trying to create a character that sort of embodied his own ethos, and he had this very sort of black and white version of good and evil. So it's a really interesting comic. I've seen clips. I haven't seen a full issue, but I've seen clips of it online. I'm not sure where you can find it. It's probably a tough one to find. If you want to read some really awesome comics, Razor Fist recommends several different lines of French and Italian comics, because some of the French and Italian graphic novels will blow your mind. They're so amazing. And I've seen some of them. They're the kind of stuff like, imagine like, something you would have seen in the old heavy metal magazines, but like a full graphic novel. They're really good. Let's see. Where did I end? Okay, we did Good Boy. Mistress Dispeller, $14,917. Why am I even reading this? In its second week, dropping 36%. Well, it has legs for being in 4 theaters. Queens of the Dead. Holy cow. Well, it dropped 90%. So I don't think George Romero's daughter has the old man's eye for making movies. In her defense, it was only in 150 theaters and they dropped it from 120, but yeah, that is no bueno. Queens of the Dead is dead. $104,000. I'm pretty sure it costs more than that. Yeah, we're not going to get the budget on that one. I can't imagine it cost a lot of money because she is Romero's daughter. And Romero didn't spend a queen's ransom on movies, but that movie looked like it cost more than $100,000. It's a shame. I sort of was rooting for it. I was kind of hoping it would be good. I'll probably catch it on streaming. But there's your Halloween movie. I know it's... You look at it and say, well, it's the QIA 2S plus people, the rainbow people, but, you know, it's a zombie movie. Let the rainbow people have a zombie movie, I say, but if it's no good, it's no good. What are you going to do? I mean, if they're not even going to support it, you know? I mean, it opened in 150 theaters. So, but then again, people just aren't seeing movies. Orwell, 2 + 2 = 5, $6,900. Why even bother? Wisdom of Happiness, $6,210. Cat Video Fest, Jesus Christ, this thing's still in the theaters. $2,185. It's in its 14th week. It's still in 2 theaters. And it's still making money. Peacock did not do well. It's still in 2 theaters. It's a German comedy. It probably did real well in Germany, but it's not doing well here. Probably should have just went straight to Netflix, where it had a chance. I mean, the one thing Netflix does really well is they tend to buy good foreign movies for Netflix. So, Jesse, well, fellas, I'm going to call it a night. It's 10 p.m. here, and I have a full day of work tomorrow. It was nice talking about movies and boobs. Man, I love this channel. Thank you so much, Jesse. I appreciate you coming in. Have a good day of work tomorrow. All right. So the entire box office this week is $48 million. Whew. Not even hitting 50 now. This is sad. That is a sad, sad number. Why are people not going to movie theaters? Well, let's not do anything about it and let movies die, I guess. So, I got to find a different metric to start ranking movies. I mean, at this rate, the theaters are all going to be closed in a couple of years. Maybe there's some numbers chart I could check out for the streaming platforms that would make sense, because this is just sad. Indie Phantom. We might have reached a point where it would be wouldn't even matter if the movies got better. People are just not coming back. That's a possibility. Because, I mean, looking at this list, I think Good Fortune is probably pretty watchable. I think Roofman is probably pretty watchable. Shelby Oaks was a Halloween movie. What else? Violent Ends doesn't look terrible. Good Boy looked good. I actually saw it. It was pretty good. Queens of the Dead, you would think with a Halloween release, it would give it a little bit of air, but it's just not happening. So, this is not the place to debut your movie. The internet is. Bottom line. The bottom line is the internet is the place to hit. It doesn't matter if you. It may not even matter if your movie hit in the theaters. Really, you know. Let's say, I mean, that movie was in 150 theaters. Let's say they were all packed to the gills. Then what? They were only in 150 theaters. Maybe they bump it to, I don't know, 700 theaters. Probably wouldn't be packed again. So, Alex Ogle. Oof, I hadn't heard of Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. Funny, precise that it is an urgent analysis in the light of Trump's re-election. The left cannot understand anything. Better title, Shooting an Elephant. Let's see. Let's see the description of Orwell. George Orwell was one of the most visionary authors of the 20th century, whose novels 1984 and Animal Farm foretold a chilling authoritarian future. Acclaimed director Raoul Peck interweaves clips, readings from Orwell's diary, cinematic references, and modern-day footage to craft not only a portrait of the writer, but a fresh take on how prophetic his work has become. Indie Phantom. It's not like I even see many movies in cinemas anymore. Once in a while, but it doesn't even feel like the same anymore. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like you go to a theater, and one of the things that really ruins it are the damn phones. People are on their phones during the movie. Their attention spans are so wrecked. They can't even put down their phones for the length of the movie. They're texting people in the middle of the movie. It's just annoying. Indie Phantom. The left are lost, Alex. Hopefully they'll never find their way back. Yeah, and hopefully the people who are taking over don't get corrupted. There's a lot of that. It's very complicated, but there's a lot of that going on X right now. I don't know if we should even get into it. Speaking of being ghosted, but yeah, there's some stuff a brewing. Hopefully it goes our way. We'll see. All right, let's check the trades. Regretting You leads worst weekend of 2025. That was the worst weekend of 2025? Even more so January and February? Oh my God. Wow. Wow. What a Pyrrhic victory for Regretting You, too. Like, oh, we're the #1 movie. It's the worst weekend in cinematic history for 2025. Well, thanks a lot for ruining our moment. Dave Franco says the reason he was successful wasn't just because he's James Franco's brother. If I sucked, I would have disappeared. Okay. I don't know. I think your brother kind of helped you, dude. I mean, let's be honest. Indie Phantom. Cinemas here are so empty. How empty are they? And I usually book seats closer to the front where nobody ever sits. So phones and talking, not often an issue. You know, I don't even like booking my seat. I like the idea of going there and being the, trying to get there early to get a good seat. Which is, it's kind of dumb they started doing that, because now there's definitely no reason to show up before the previews end. Or before the commercials end. Indie Phantom. Dave Franco is successful. I guess. Jennifer Lawrence. Oh, this is funny. This is hilarious headline. I have to read this. Jennifer Lawrence says, I don't really know if I should speak out on Trump and politics anymore. I'm just adding fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart. Yeah, way to make it all about you. But she said something else in this same interview. The only people that feel safe in America, that their rights are recognized and respected are white men. And that wasn't it. She said something even funnier. Oh, where the hell is it? She was being interviewed by host Lulu Garcia Navarro. I really don't know if I should speak out about politics, basically, she was saying. The first Trump administration was so wild, and just how can we let this stand? I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But as we've learned, election after election, celebrities do not make a difference whatsoever on who people vote for. So then what am I doing? I'm just sharing my opinion on something that's going to add fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart. We are so divided. I think I'm in a complicated recalibration because I'm also an artist, Lawrence continued. With this temperature and the way things can turn out, I don't want to start turning people off to films and to art that could change consciousness or change the world because they don't like my political opinions. I want to protect my craft so that you could still get lost in what I'm doing. And if I can't say something that's going to speak to some kind of peace or lowering the temperature or some sort of solution, I don't want to be part of the problem. I don't want to make the problem worse. You watch these actors' faces who have had incredible careers and make incredible contributions, and then one half of the internet doesn't want to see their face anymore. I get so upset for those people, and it feels so wrong. Those poor millionaire actors. How can you stop watching their movies? Indie Phantom. Sorry, it should read Dave Franco is successful? I was wondering why you said that. I was like, he's defending Dave Franco. Maybe he is successful. Maybe I have to look into it more. Indie Phantom. Yeah, I guess they started the seat booking for more accurate box office reporting or to keep people from theater hopping. Yeah, but half these theaters are empty anyway. If you're a theater hopping, you just have to wait until the movie starts, I think. Oh, man. Where the hell's this quote I'm looking for? Basically, she said, she then quipped when asked if she regretted how she handled speaking out in the past. Probably. I regret everything I've done or said. I'm going to take the zip drives out of all these cameras when I leave. The second term feels different because he said what he was going to do. We knew what he did for 4 years. He was very clear, and that's what we chose. That's not the quote, but, oh, here it is. Finally, I got to the quote. All right. She told Vanity Fair in 2021 she took a 2-year break from Hollywood because, quote, everybody's gotten sick of me, and I've gotten sick of me. In a recent interview with The New Yorker, Lawrence admitted that she understood why the public rejected her personality because she actually was annoying in old interviews. And I was like, yeah, finally you acknowledge how annoying you are in an interview. Just look hot, Jennifer. You don't have much time to keep looking hot. Just keep looking hot as long as possible. Is that too much to ask? By the way, I'll remind you again of the movie No Hard Feelings, a comedy that's pretty good, that she is in and does a full frontal nudity in. And it's a very funny scene on top of that. Indie Phantom. Yeah, I guess they started the seat booking. Oh, I read that one. Indie Phantom. One of my local indie theaters is first come, first serve. Oh, cool. I actually kind of loathe Dave Franco. How I hate him. Oh, Dave Franco, how I loathe you. Speaking of loathing, George Clooney says it was a mistake to have Kamala Harris replace Joe Biden as the 2024 presidential election. She was given a very tough ask. Oh, shut up, George. Yeah, speaking of celebrities that have ruined themselves with politics. Yeah, George Clooney is one of them for me. I can't look at Clooney anymore. Like, there's a whole list of celebrities. I can't watch them in movies. It's really tough. Harrison Ford, right at the top, especially after this week. Once again, like, going out of his way to say, hey, remember me? I was cool once. Now all I do is talk about politics and climate change. Tiresome. George Clooney, also tiresome. Indie Phantom. Oh, you're right on. You're get out of my head. Heard Harrison Ford finally had to attack Trump now that his career is basically over. Indie Phantom. She has full nudity in Red Sparrow and is actually trying to be sexy. Indie Phantom. Same, Tony. Yeah. I mean, and now Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is slowly pushing himself into that category. Like, I badly wanted to see a sequel to what's the name? Oh God, what the hell's the movie? Now it just went out of my head. The one where he plays the dude. Oh man, I can't think. What the hell's the movie? God, it's right. It just went right out of my head. Clint Miller's here. Good evening. I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking, Tony. I'm glad you're doing well, my friend. Clint had his eye operation, so he's doing well. Indie Phantom, I have a mental blacklist. Yeah, I mean, Dave Franco isn't on it. I have no idea what his politics are. Yeah, it's like Harrison Ford, George Clooney, Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen's not so much for politics, just that he's such an insufferable prick in my view. After his confrontation with Dankula online, I lost so much comedy respect for him. And I love This Is the End. I love that movie. And one day, him and Dave, the other Franco, James Franco, will be in a movie. He'll be in a movie with him again because they'll need the money or wanting. It'll be the only thing the studio will greenlight. Indie Phantom. Martin Sheen also slammed Trump while Charlie was out touring every Republican talk show. Yeah, Martin Sheen, I almost give a pass to because he is at least, like, he's been a left-leaning guy forever. He's never pretended to be anything else. Like, he's marched in protest. He is, like, super left. So, Charlie Sheen, though, is very strange. Charlie Sheen's recent revelations are like, what? Indie Phantom, Jeff Bridges really hurt. Shut up, dude. Yeah. I still need to watch This Is the End someday. It is really funny. Danny McBride is so amazing. He has one of the most amazing entrances in comedy movie history. It's just the best. I won't give it away. Aziz Ansari has a great cameo. There's a lot of amazing cameos. Paul Rudd, Michael Cera, they all have these hilarious cameos. And it's just great because it's at the end of the world and it's Hollywood and so many celebrities die on top of everything else. So, oh, what's this? 100 best horror movies of all time. All right, let's stop into that and let's see Variety's list. All right, there, going in order. Okay, great. Repulsion, 1965. Wow, you're going back a ways. I don't even know that one. Suspiria, I've heard of this one. I haven't seen it. I hear it's great. The Devil's Backbone. Don't know that one. Indie Phantom. McBride was awesome in Eastbound and Down. Yeah, I used to watch some of that. That was pretty good. The Haunting, 1963. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. That is a good one. That is super, super messed up. Dead Alive, Brain Dead, 1991. Yeah, that's Peter Jackson's early work. That's a good movie. Event Horizon. It is a messed up movie. It is. It has such a great premise, but the execution is very weird. The Indie Phantom. That movie sounds timely with regards to Hollywood. Cat People. I don't remember seeing that. 1942. I think that's the one David Bowie remade. The Human Centipede 2. Full sequence? No, I'll pass on that. I think that movie, it just sounds gross. Dead of Night. Don't remember that one. A Page of Madness. 1926. Wow, they're going back. Indie Phantom Repulsion and Suspiria. Both cool watches. Storebang is here. EB&D was awesome. Horror of Dracula, 1958. Another one I don't remember. Blood Feast, 1963. I remember hearing about it. Didn't see it. The Vanishing, 1988. Nope, don't remember that. Village of the Damned. That one I remember. That's the original one from 1960. Storebang, a major influence on my work. Oh, neat. Reanimator, 1985. I've seen that. It's another messed up movie. Dead Ringers, 1988. Jeremy Irons playing twins. Little Shop of Horrors, 1960. Oh, I haven't seen this one. I saw the one with Rick Moranis. What Lies Beneath? Nope, can't see it anymore. Thanks, Harrison Ford. I don't know. I don't know if that should be on the list. The Wolfman, 1941, classic. Lon Chaney Jr. House of Wax. One of my older relatives said this was like one of their favorite scary movies. The Omen. I remember The Omen. They were making one of these like every year back in the 70s. The original one's pretty good, I remember. After that, it gets kind of crazy. Angst, 1983. Never saw that. The Blob, 1958. Classic. Steve McQueen. I Walked with a Zombie, 1943. Never heard of that. The Descent, 2005. Indie Phantom. Human Centipede 2 was more black comedy. I like how the guy tricks the girl into coming because she thinks she's going to a Tarantino audition. What Lies Beneath isn't great. A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. I didn't think this movie was scary at all, but your mileage may vary. Blood for Dracula. Ooh, that's kind of a cool shot. Creature from the Black Lagoon, classic. Not very scary, but Hostel Part 2. These movies, the Hostel movies are too gross for me. The Wailing, 2016. Haven't seen that. Near Dark. Here's one that I've seen. This is classic. This is Hillbilly Vampires. I love this movie. Indie Phantom. Saw Omen 2 recently. Not great, but creative kills. The Sixth Sense. I like The Sixth Sense. I thought it was pretty good. I like the first Omen. I love The Exorcist. That's going to be on the top. It better be Variety. Possession, 1981. Is that Sam Neill? I think it is. Indie Phantom. Dracula is a horn dog. The Babadook. I saw this. Yeah, this movie's pretty scary, actually. Surprisingly so. Because you're watching it going, this isn't going to be scary, but it kind of is. The Incredible Shrinking Man, 1957. I saw this. This is kind of an interesting flick. I don't know if I'd call it horror, but it's kind of got scary moments. Planet Terror. Yeah, I wouldn't call this scary either, but it's got some cool sequences. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1931. I like that movie. Gremlins, 1984. Again, not scary, but is damn fun. Indie Phantom Possession is totally whack. Really? Candyman 1992. I like Tony Todd. He was a really nice guy, but nah, not my cup of tea. Funny Games 1997. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane 1962. I think I saw part of this. Raw 2016. Scenes of cannibalism in that. Peeping Tom 1960. Man, a lot of these I don't know. The Fly 1986. Saw that. It's okay. It's kind of messed up. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I like this movie. It's one of the few silent movies that you go, ooh, that's kind of cool. Indie Phantom. Candyman is overrated. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about it. I've never seen the whole thing. It never interests me enough. Let the Right One In. That movie's good. This is a good movie. Eraserhead is not a horror movie at all, in my opinion. Why are you putting this on the list? Just to put Lynch on here? Blood and Black Lace? No, never saw this thing. Looks kind of messed up. Irreversible, 2002. No, don't know that. Onibaba, 1964. Kind of looks messed up. Japanese. The Witch, 2015. Love this movie. This movie's scary. Yeah. Put this one on your list. The Witch is good. The Birds, classic, 1963. Oh, we're going to get a lot of Hitchcock now. Godzilla, 1954. Again, I wouldn't even call it horror, but I love Godzilla. The Thing, 46. That belongs a lot higher up, but it's a genius film. The Invisible Man. Oh, come on. The Thing's way better than the Invisible Man, but that's pretty good. Manhunter, 1986. Oh, yeah, that's the Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, that's pretty good. Indie Phantom. Peeping Tom is quite creepy. He has a mirror and a blade attached to his camera so his victims see themselves die. Quite brutal for 1960. Huh. Vampire, 1932. Haven't seen that one. 28 Days Later. It's not very scary, but yeah, I would guess I would put it in horror. The Devils, 1971. No, I haven't seen that. That looks very 1970s, though. Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. I love that movie. I'm not scared of it at all, but Indie Phantom. Manhunter, solid as F. Qualden, 1964. Freaks, 1932. Freaks. It's kind of a... I've seen clips of it. It's kind of, I don't want to watch it. Deep Red, Profondo Rosso, 1975. It looks kind of like a vampire movie. Oh, Dario Argento. He did Suspiria. Hereditary, 2018. Don't know that one. Man, there's so many. Invasions of the Body Snatchers, 1956. Probably not as scary, but I would be interested in seeing that. Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. Pretty classic. Kind of scary. Funny as well. M, 1931. Classic. Night of the Hunter, 1955. Classic. Ringu, 1988. Is this The Ring? Indie Phantom. Let's remake Freaks with Dems. That'd be too easy. Eyes Without a Face. Is this what Billy Idol based his song on? 1960. Phantom of the Opera. This movie is actually kind of scary for being that old. The Wicker Man. Kind of scary. That's the original one. Dracula, 1931. Indie Phantom, M is atmospheric. The Innocents, 1961. Haven't seen that one. Scream, come on. You're going to put Scream at 25 and The Thing at 46. If you put Scream on this list, you got to put it all the way at the bottom. It's not that good. The Blair Witch Project, also too high on the list, I would say. Dawn of the Dead, nice. 1978, classic. Carnival of Souls. Ooh, it looks spooky. I didn't see this one. I think I've heard of it, though. Black Sunday, 1960. Haven't seen that one. Get Out? Come on, Get Out's not that scary. It's not even that good. JC, Dracula is not scary. There's a couple scary moments. Indie Phantom, The Innocents is one of the better haunted house flicks. The Mummy, 1932. Classic. The Shining. I love The Shining. 1980. This is scary. Diabolique. 1955. Also a classic. Halloween, 1978. I like this one. JC, Carnival of Souls is like weird and trippy. Get Out? Get out of here. Don't Look Now, 1973. Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. I like Nosferatu. I think it should be on the list. Silence of the Lambs, pretty classic. Indie Phantom, love Carnival of Souls. It is short and has a great concept. Trippy, yes. King Kong, again, not really a horror movie. It's a monster movie, but I guess. Alien, 1979, yes, classic, horror. Carrie, 1976, yeah, it should be on the list. Salou, or 120 Days of Sodom. No, I haven't seen this. 1975. I think I've heard of it, though. Looks scary. Frankenstein, 1931. Classic, but not very scary. Audition, 1999. Now, this is where we're in the top 10, and you're naming movies I haven't even heard of. But okay. Night of the Living Dead, classic, 1968. I mean, they should just all be like bangers, every one of them. 5, Rosemary's Baby, classic, 1968. Jaws, 1975, classic. Psycho is number 3. Oh, you're in dangerous waters here. You only got 2 more left. 1960. The Exorcist is number 2, 1973. How dare you? What is number 1? Am I going to be appalled and outraged? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Come on. That should not be number 1. No. Come on. JC Sallow? LOL, how did that get on here? It's a very degenerate movie. Indie Phantom, Don't Look Now has a brilliant Donald Sutherland, genuinely unnerving and nightmarish. This was a weird list. Felt like it was negotiated in a conference room and at the Variety offices. Doesn't feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Come on. I never would have picked that one as number 1. Exorcist should be number 1. All right, let's move on to Fandom Pulse. Oh, here's Harrison Ford ruining what's left of his legacy, in my view. Indie Phantom, Texas Chainsaw is a solid pick. For 1, The Exorcist is so scary to me. So here's Harrison Ford launches profanity-laden attack on Trump's climate policies. Like, didn't you get the memo? We're done with this. JC, Chainsaw Massacre is acceptable. Indie Phantom. It is a Chat GPT list. Oh, great. Variety didn't even write it. Harrison Ford. I can't believe Harrison Ford. I just. This was an article. How the comic book industry fakes success through controlled media. Didn't really have any deets, but I talked about before how they can game the system in terms of making it look like they sold comics when they didn't really. What else dropped this week? Steam bans players for posting White Lives Matter in Outer Worlds 2 forum, which is weird. Oh, an Absolute Batman annual. An Absolute Batman, I mean, it's just become ridiculous what they're doing with comics at DC and Marvel. Woker than woke, you know, they got them bashing cops and, you know, crooked cops and white supremacists, because we all know every day we get up and walk out our front doors and, oh, there's another white supremacist walking down the street, and the cops are just nodding along going, yeah, we're not going to arrest him. We're going to let him do white supremacist stuff all over the street. Like, where do these people live? They live in a fantasy land. Indie Phantom. Climate policies. LOL. Stop crashing your private jets, dude. Yeah, here's leftist gloat after Daniel Warren Johnson depicts Batman killing white supremacists and police officers in Absolute Batman Annual. JC. Same people complaining about climate change never mentions how we're sending all our manufacturing over to China and India, who have over 1 billion people each. Well, that's starting to slow because Trump put on the tariffs. That was one of the reasons. JC. Daniel Warren Johnson is worth picking up. I'm not interested in seeing Batman kill people. I'm not interested in this version of Batman. He's too much like the Punisher. And I don't want to hear his leftist nonsense. Again, this isn't what Batman's about. Like, if you had a cool villain, maybe. Heart Machine announces more layoffs after shutting down Sweet Baby Inc. infected Hyper Light Breaker. So, I guess they had some other game, and the feminists over at Sweet Baby Inc. were giving them advice, and lo and behold, they shut down the game. So, let that be a lesson to you. Super Sentai, the series that started Power Rangers to end broadcast after half a century. I had no idea this thing was just running over in Japan, but apparently it has been. So there you go. Super Sentai. They asked Famaki Jansen if she was going back to Marvel to do Jean Grey. Basically, she said no. And The Witcher continues to embarrass everybody, with Liam Hemsworth in the lead, replacing Henry Cavill. And nobody who liked this show likes it anymore. Everybody hates The Witcher, pretty much. Season 4. And they added, I believe they added a lesbian character of color now, and it's just like, who are you people trying to fool? And they're defending the show as always. And these people are fooling no one. This is the dumbest move in the history of moves. The timing on this couldn't be more poor. So to watch these guys waste more money and destroy another IP is just senseless. It's really just senseless. Because in a couple of years, I think we'll be entering the base time of hopefully entertainment again. And all the base stuff is going to slowly start to come back. And IPs like The Witcher, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all these IPs that have been ruined, they can't come back because they'll be so ruined. People will associate them with failure, and Hollywood will be forced to just retire them all. The next move, too, will be they're going to say, oh, we can't do any sequels, because this is what Hollywood does. First, First, they never wanted to do sequels. Now they do nothing but sequels and reboots. But then they're going to go the other way. They're going to say, no, no more sequels. So they'll have some hit movie that you're dying for a sequel. And then they'll go, no, we don't do sequels anymore. You said you hated that. No, we hate bad movies, Hollywood. Indie Phantom. I hate The Witcher and I never even watched it. Well, apparently the books are amazing. Henry Cavill loved the books. And it's amazing to have an actor, a lead actor, playing the lead character in a show based on a series of books where the lead actor has read them all and loves them. So, like, you just don't get that very often. I'm pretty sure the acting, the guys who were the cast for the live-action Cowboy Bebop probably didn't see a single episode. And if they had, especially the girl who played Faye Valentine, might have said something like, hey, the character in the show is super sexy all the time and wearing next to nothing. Why aren't I doing that? But whatever. Alex Ogle, future-based movie pitch, Boobs, starring Sydney Sweeney. I don't think it really needs a plot. It should just be enough to get people, get the purple-haired ones screeching like banshees. But see, they won't even be an issue in the not-too-distant future. Because all those purple-haired banshees are all going to stop dyeing their hair. They're all going trad. They're all going to go the other way. Because the whole purpose of dyeing their hair and putting in a nose ring in the first place was so everybody would give them attention and they could look virtuous. Once they get on board with the idea that that doesn't work anymore, there's no reason to do it. The whole reason to do it was for them. It was for their attention, so everybody would pay attention to them. Now that that's mostly dead or dying, the only people who will do that will be people who haven't gotten the memo. So there'll still be like girls in the Ozarks, right? They haven't gotten the memo because they don't really follow social media close enough. And they're like getting it from like 2 years ago. They'll start dyeing their hair purple and giving themselves nose rings and calling everybody racist. But no one will care. And they'll make some trailer park up in Tennessee miserable. But it won't matter anymore. Because the new trend will be trad girls. They'll all become trad girls. And then they'll all start going to church. And that's when it turns into the 80s again. Because then they're not going to complain that The Witcher is bad or too woke. They're going to complain, oh, The Witcher, he has magic. That's against God. And then we're going to have to deal with that again. Alex Ogle, the future-based advice to men is to look closely at women's noses to look for the telltale holes of the piercings that indicate they're easily propagandized. JEC, they never got attention. They did it to drive people away. They're going to wake up one day and realize it's too late to have a family and they're all going to die alone. Some of them will. Some of them will stick, for some of them it's too late already. They've already burned too many bridges. But a lot of them they'll find Jesus. And then it'll be like, oh, I found Jesus. I'm so sorry. And, they'll just turn it all around. And for a while, it'll be nice. Because when a trend starts, it's, like that, it's actually okay. It's like when a message board was new. Like, when a message board is new, everybody has a great time. When Reddit was new, it was the most awesome site ever. I thought, wow, this is the future of the internet. Now it's, wasteland. And after a while, it turned into a wasteland very quickly. It got territorial very quickly. But, we're right now in that phase where, like, switching over to be trad, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. Hold on a sec. I may have left something on the stove that I completely forgot about. Hold on. I'm smelling it burning. Yep, I ruined the pot. Well, that's my own damn fault. Oh, well. And I didn't even go get it. Well, as long as I'm taking a break, let me get a drink. I don't know if you can see little Joan. She's down here on the floor. You probably can't see her. All right, that's better. Where was I? Most of them, it's already too late. The ones, this is JEC, the ones my age, it's already too late and they're just realizing it. Alex Ogle. Yeah, Tony's right. Once the easily propagandized women hop on the religion wagon, they'll become scolds again and ruin it all. Alex Ogle, step it up, little Joan. JEC, Jesus, Joan, no wonder Tony is shadow banned. Clint Miller, great move, Joan. Indie Phantom, LOL. Alex Ogle, wow, Joan, everyone with, I'm going to not say that only because I know you're joking, but I don't know how I got shadow ghosted or banned or whatever happened to my stupid stream. All right. Now what's happening? Trump calls ICE on Miles Teller's Property Brothers after building White House ballroom and SNL skit. That's the top story at the Hollywood Reporter. God, I gotta find better industry rags to talk about. Jeez, you guys don't even cover anything anymore. SNL, great. Ariana Grande's in Focker-in-Law. So there's that. Like, they're putting Ariana Grande in everything. It's like, oh, she was in Wicked and that made a lot of money, so now we'll put her in everything. Like, she doesn't belong in everything. She belongs in a place where she could get some food. I think she needs a sandwich. JC, there's nothing going on Sundays. It's true. Let's see. Kim Cattrall, one of my early crushes, says acting beats any sexual climactic experience. Still doing Samantha from Sex and the City, I say. Alex Ogle, what pie were you making, Tony? A pizza pie with extra pineapple, the topping of champions? No, I was boiling more iced tea and I forgot about it, as I sometimes do, and now I've ruined the pot. So I'll have to wait until the pot cools and try to scrub it again, and boiled all the water away, unfortunately. And the only reason I knew that is because I finally smelled the pot. I smelled the smell of just the pot, empty pot sitting on the stove. Pluribus creator Vince Gilligan needed a hero, so he called Rhea Seehorn. Yeah, I kind of want to see this show, only because the guy from Breaking Bad made it. But I'm kind of waiting for the reviews. But a lot of people are excited for it, so I hope it lives up to the hype. Not sure what this show is yet. It's a genre-bending project that was so buttoned up that Gilligan didn't even tell his wife about it for a lengthy period of time. So it's 9 episodes on Apple TV, unfortunately. I'm going to have to figure out how to hook up my Apple TV finally. Clint Miller, Kim Cattrall must be sleeping with Hollywood men. Indie Phantom, what? Cattrall? Alex Ogle, Cattrall was Canada's finest, particularly in Star Trek VI, but went dually. What? Oh, went dually, like dual citizenship. I love her in, I'll always love her in Big Trouble in Little China. Oh, she's so great in that. Everybody's great in that. LeMay is here. Hello. Hello, LeMay. Welcome. Good to see you. Over at Bounding in the Comics, there's Ozzy Osbourne. What was he in? He was in, like, Trick or Treat, I think, as a cameo. That was pretty funny. The Witcher showrunner defends Netflix series changes, says books and video games still exist, so everyone can have their own version. So by that logic, we could take something you love, you know, about 3 seasons in, replace the lead character with an actor, and then completely just jam it full of topless girls and call it a day, right? So we could do that to, say, your favorite, I don't know, drama TV show, and then turn it into a buddy comedy movie, a frat movie, or frat comedy with topless girls and beer drinking and sports, and yeah, you'll be fine with that, because we'll just say when, hey, you know, I was watching that cool story that followed the books. We'll just say, oh, well, everybody can have their own version, right? Yeah, we'll just interrupt things that you love in the middle of and completely ruin them. So effing, this is like the dumbest defense of screwing up The Witcher I've ever heard, quite frankly. Indie Phantom, genre bending better than gender bending. Yes. I'm so used to reading like, oh, this is a gender switched character. That's what I instantly defaulted to. Alex Ogle, Doolally, crazy. Indie Phantom, Porky, she is fine. Oh, right. I forgot she's in Porky's. Yes, she is very fine in that. JC, let's cast Baron Trump as Harry Potter. How do you like it? Harry, you're the chosen one. Is it because I'm so tall? Maybe. LeMay, so Colleen Hoover is dominating the box office this week. Not my thing, but I'm not surprised. The women writes crazy thrillers for women despite the hate she gets. Yeah, she's very popular. Sorry, I'm a little phlegmy. She's extremely popular on what's known as Book Talk. Book as in BOOK, and talk as in TikTok. So apparently there's a lot of TikTok book reviewers. And I think I got reviewed by one. I got to have a cough drop, so I don't phlegm up. And they review Colleen Hoover very positively. And that spilled over onto Twitter or X, where people ask for book recommendations all the time. But the women who tend to end up on X always say, don't recommend Colleen Hoover anymore. They either don't like her or they've read all her books already. And everybody for a while kept recommending her. So she is very, very popular. And Hollywood has discovered her, so therefore they're going to make all her books into movies. What else? From General Zod to Bizarro, here are the 6 most misunderstood Superman villains. All right, let's see. General Zod? No, I don't think he's misunderstood at all. Bloodsport, I don't remember him. Bizarro, He's just weird. The Eradicator. I never heard of him. Superman doesn't have a deep bench. That's the problem. Mr. Mitzelplex. Now, he is misunderstood because he's very weird. And then the Silver Banshee. It's like one you recognize and then one you've never heard of, basically. JEC. Throat getting hoarse? Why don't you have a swig of iced tea, Tony? Oh, wait. Yeah. I've kind of ruined that for myself. I need both now. You know what it is? I came off of October. I was doing... Last year I did 30... I scheduled 31 events. I ended up doing 28. This year I only scheduled 22, I think, or 23, something like that. So yeah, I got a little hoarse this year doing my talk over and over again. Over at Deadline. JC. Silver Banshee was a John Byrne character. Cool design. Indie Phantom. Bloodsport is a Van Damme title. Oh, yeah. Here's Zaslav. That was big news this week. The rumor is Netflix is exploring an option to buy Warner Brothers. Trump is pushing for Skydance or Paramount to buy Warner Brothers. I think what Trump's trying to do is help David Ellison, who apparently runs Skydance or Paramount or both, I'm not sure. And I think what Trump wants is an alternative to Disney that would be directly competitive. And by combining Warner Brothers into that mix, it would be big enough. Skydance isn't exactly based, but it's way more based than, say, Disney. But they're going to be firing a lot of people. Whoever buys Warner Brothers is going to be like firing everybody left and right. So Netflix is exploring it, and Comcast is exploring a bid. But the word is it's not going to be either one of them. Because if one of them makes a bid, then Trump might just say, yeah, it's too big of a merger. We're going to have to take a look at it. Whereas if Ellison over at Skydance makes a bid, he's just going to go, oh, yeah, that's cool. Zaslav is trying to get the price jacked up. So he turned down the latest offer, I think. And I think he's trying to use the other offers to jack up the price with Skydance. JC, David Ellison is a big Trump donor. Well, hopefully he's based. Indie Phantom, Skydance is in the lead, I think. Yeah, I don't know if Zaslav wants that or he's just trying to get more money. So, what I do know is I hope everybody at DC Comics gets fired and then they clean house and bring in a new team, but we'll see. Indie Phantom, I heard like 1,000 got fired from Paramount. Yep, that happened like 2 days ago. JC, Ellison is Team Israel. It's fine. Who cares? He's not in the government. And hopefully, what Trump has done will set the region up to not be much of a problem anymore. At least for a while. So, that, I think, was the goal. To tee up a situation in which it's stable enough that not much happens anymore. JC, Joan cares. Jones not allowed to listen to Nick Fuentes anymore. Anyhow, JC, peace deal is already falling apart. That's what some people say that, but part of it is just, you know, they killed like another 100 Gazans in a strike. The IDF did, I think. And then Trump said no more. They wanted to go into another area, and Trump said no. And then they backed into the peace deal again. So it's going to go back and forth for a while. Part of it was the Hamas gave up some more bodies, and then the IDF said these aren't the bodies of the hostages. So that may have had something to do with it. But really, those bodies have been buried under rubble for God knows how long. I don't know if they could ever find some of them. This one, Matthew Lillard says, F ICE at Cinespia screening of Scream. We need to lead with love. Oh, great. Why, Matthew? Why? I don't know why you're doing it, but I guess it's a way to get in good with the agencies and the studios at this point in your career, so welcome to Derry. Creator explains how strikes complicated filming suddenly become hellish. What becomes hellish is that you keep taking Stephen King stuff and doing prequels and extensions and sequels. I can't understand why anybody would want to see a prequel to it. I honestly just don't understand it. Who would want to see this? It doesn't make any sense. Clint Miller. Matthew had to say the magic words, apparently. I would like to think that, but at the same time, I think a lot of people just don't follow the news all that closely. Indie Phantom. LOL Lillard. Moron. Let's see. What else we got here? Black Phone 2 rings past 100 million global. One battle nears 200 million. It's not going to make it. Chainsaw Regretting You lead overseas. International box office. SNL Weekend Update, because that's all they talk about on Sunday. Michael Che says government still aids food insecure families through Second Amendment after SNAP cutoff. Is that a joke? I get, because you're saying they're going to rob people. I guess they're all in blue cities where guns are banned, supposedly. Excuse me, by the way. This was sad. The cinematographer to the original Terminator died. He was good. I remember the lighting on Terminator was pretty awesome. I remember liking it at the time. Okay, that's about it. Indie Phantom. I'm watching Welcome to Derry. It's all right. Nice small town 60s vibes. Yeah, but like, wouldn't it be a better show if they just made an original horror show that took place in that time period? If they want to make it there, you know what I mean? It's like the backstory to the only person who's in the backstory is the monster. I don't think there's enough in the It novel to go back to, like, wow, what happened there? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't think there's enough there to go back in time. There are ways to do that. Like, I set up all kinds of crazy characters in the past in the Pineys, you could go back, you could do a whole friggin' series on one of them if you wanted to. But I don't know why. Even that, though, when you do prequels, it just undermines everything because you already know where it's headed. Jeff Bezos wants Sydney Sweeney as 007's next Bond girl. Well, that makes 100% sense. So it's probably never going to happen. Clint Miller, it was a space alien per the novel. Yeah, it was like a giant spider or something. Indie Phantom, it might be better, but Derry did huge numbers. I don't think it could keep them up, but sure, I guess. It's like, just go to Stephen King and say, Stephen, give us something. Just write some ideas on a napkin and give it to us, and we'll make a TV show out of it. That's what they should do. And then connect it to one of your... I mean, they could do a show. I don't know what they could call it, but you could do a show that takes place in a universe where, like, all of the Stephen King things happen. Right? Except, you know, maybe you couldn't do The Fog. But, like, most of the Stephen King things happened. And then you could have some new horror. And then you could make references to the other things. Or you could touch upon it in some way. That would be interesting. Alex Ogle. Once you get past the children engaging in dubious sexual behavior to each other, Stephen King's novel doesn't have a lot to say. No wonder leftists want to make so much of it. Yeah, I didn't read that one. That's it's no bueno. Alex Ogle, I'm nervous about what they are going to do with The Running Man when it's remade. Well, that one looks fun at least. So, Josh Brolin is the game show host, and he's always good. Glenn Powell looks good in it. It's an action thing. They're running around and trying to kill him. It focuses more on... I'm told it's a little closer to what the short story or the novella did. But it's not going to have the ending that the short story did, or novella, or whatever. Indie Phantom. This is even connected to The Shining. Halloran is in there. Oh. Okay. That's kind of cool. Clint Miller. Although a lot of Michael Crichton's novels made to film, one never will. State of Fear. Crichton blasted climate change as bad science. Maybe one day. But he's a bit out of vogue, so. Oh, man, sorry. Disney scraps Doctor Who. Deal with BBC. Media blames Trump. Of course. Because Orange Hitler did everything. New Mutants movie director calls experience a traumatic Marvel mess. Poor baby. Won't somebody think of the poor millionaires in Hollywood? Speaking of, Quentin Tarantino makes his return to acting. I don't mind Quentin in movies. He's okay. I mean, if he does a real acting job or they give him a real acting role, I'd be like, what? Clint Miller. Although a lot of Michael Crichton novels... Oh, I read that one. JC. Does Trump even know what Doctor Who is? I doubt it. He wasn't a nerd. Say what you want about Trump, but he wasn't a nerd. Alex Ogle. Trump caused you to forget your tea, Tony. We better storm the Capitol. Yeah, I mean, like... Anything that happens is somehow connected to Trump, and he's blamed immediately. All right, here's a nice headline. Miramax to revive Monster Mash song as family-friendly Halloween movie. So that'll be nice. Clint Miller, nice shirt, Tony. I see what the Piney Power logo on the top of the hat will look like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't make this shirt anymore. I got it at Chatsworth in the Pine Barrens at Hot Diggity Dog. And I asked, and what I would do is I'd go back and I'd get a new shirt. And I thought I could go back every year because this was their standard shirt, and then they stopped making it. And then I went back and I was like, well, where's the shirt? And they're like, oh, they stopped making it, but we're going to bring it back. And I was like, oh, man. So I got to make this one last now. Or I got to make a new shirt. Indie Phantom, I saw Quentin on stage in Wait Until Dark with Marissa Tomei and Stephen Lang back in '98. Really? How was he? Alex Ogle, nice. I hear it's going to be a graveyard smash. I was working in the lab late one night. Robin Hood release schedule. When are new episodes out? Oh, I was going to say, are they going to release that many Robin Hood movies? They have to have a schedule for them? Well, we can't have Robin Hood movies competing against each other. Pete Davidson praises the infinitely more talented Eddie Murphy. Gets what I'm going through. Dude, you've banged every hot chick in Hollywood. I can't feel sorry for you. I just can't. Okay? Just be happy you got to bang every hot chick in Hollywood for a while. Now you got a girlfriend, and now you got to be an idiot. Let's see. What's on Paramount Plus in November? Okay. Available November 1st. 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. 21 Jump Street. I never liked that show. Or is that the movie? 40 Days and 40 Nights. 48 Hours. Indie Phantom. I thought Quentin sucked in the play, but cool to see it. Clint Miller. Armageddon went up against Deep Impact. And they both sucked. Although Armageddon was more hilarious because, you know, they sent them into space to plant an explosive on an asteroid, and one of the things they sent up with them was a robot with machine guns for some insane reason. A very Brady sequel, Alfie, from 2004, the remake. All I Want for Christmas, American Beauty, American Maid, An Officer and a Gentleman, another 48 Hours. So some good stuff to watch. Assassin's Club, Big Daddy, Big Night, Blades of Glory. That one's not too bad. Breakfast at Tiffany's, classic. Bridget Jones, The Edge of Reason. Bridget Jones' Baby, Bridget Jones' Diary, Catch Me If You Can. Chinatown, ooh, classic movie. Chocolat, Cujo. Days of Thunder, Dean. Deck the Halls, Defiance, Dinner for Schmucks. That movie sucks. God, that movie sucked donkey balls. Ugh. I saw that movie and I thought, Stephen Carell has lost his comedy. Doubt, Dreamgirls, Enemy at the Gates, Faster, Fat Man, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I love that movie. Classic. Flags of Our Fathers. Another good movie with Clint Eastwood directing, I believe. Flight, Friendsgiving, G.I. Joe Retaliation, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, Gasoline Alley, Geostorm, that movie. Get Rich or Die Trying, Ghost, Hamburger Hill, Happy Christmas, Home for the Holidays, I Love You Man, Indecent Proposal. God, there are a lot of movies on this thing. JC, why don't you just put their entire catalog up from the start? Alex Ogle, I was hoping for better things from Deep Impact because it had Tia Leone in it. But even her hotness at the time couldn't help. I was hoping... Oh, yeah. No worries. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Ugh. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. All the Indiana Jones movies. The good ones. Instant Family. Jersey Girl. Joe Dirt. Juice. Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Last Holiday. Leaving Las Vegas. Love Rosie. Loving. Mansfield Park. Morning Glory. Mouse Hunt. No Strings Attached. Noah. Old School. Only the Brave Pain and Gain. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I love that. Pretty in Pink, Punch Drunk Love, Rango, Reindeer Games, Rescue Dawn, Revolutionary Road, Rules of Engagement, Runaway Bride, Santa Stole Our Dog, Saturday Night Fever, classic, Saving Private Ryan, Scrooged. I love Scrooged. Shakespeare in Love, She's All That, She's Out of My League, Sherlock Gnomes, ugh. Shooter, Snow Day, Some Kind of Wonderful, Starship Troopers, classic, Staying Alive, ugh. Stop Loss, Superstar, Saving Christmas, Talladega Nights, Ballad of Ricky Bobby, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3, The Big Short, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, Brady Bunch movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I kind of hate that movie. It's sort of boring and stupid. The Cut, The Darkest Hour, The Duchess, The Fighting Temptations, The Godfather, classic, The Godfather Coda, Death of Michael Corleone. Now that's Godfather 3. We don't talk about that. The Godfather Part 2, classic movie. The Importance of Being Earnest, The Mechanic, The Other Bowling Girl, The Perfect Score, The Terminal, The Terminator, The Usual Suspects, The Words, There Will Be Blood, I Drink Your Milkshake, Titanic, Jesus, every movie in history is on this damn channel. Total Recall, 1990, classic. Sharon Stone is so effing hot in the original Total Recall. Trading Places, Uncommon Valor, Up in the Air, Urban Cowboy, Valkyrie, Varsity Blues, Wayne's World 2, We Were Soldiers, What Women Want, When Harry Met Sally, Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot, World Trade Center, Yours, Mine, and Ours. Now, I'm not going to read the rest. It's too long of a list. All right. Here it is. Netflix explores bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Snyderverse fans on alert. For what? You think they're going to bring all these people back to do this movie again? You're out of your minds. He's not that good. He's just look, visually, he's amazing. He can make them look great, but he has the story sense of a brain damaged chihuahua. I mean, there's just no story. It's just all over the place. Yeah, I think the only reason he got close with the superhero movies is because they already came with stories sort of built into their characters, and so there was kind of some of the story there. He just had to follow it, but he didn't even follow it all that closely. Batman was killing dudes. Superman's killing people, which really was a cannon breaker. I mean, you can kind of get away with it. Batman, he did kill people very early on. And you could kind of make an argument for, like, well, but come on. Alex Ogle, the original Total Recall also had Michael Ironside in it. He elevates all films. He's such a great heavy, that guy. Yeah, here, Zack Snyder shares new Ben Affleck Batman image. No question, this man is Batman. He did look very much like Bruce Wayne. I'll give you that. But I didn't really buy him as Batman. I like Robert Pattinson better. I know, it's controversial. But Robert Pattinson, I just like the Matt Reeves version of him. Now, you know, you switch their spots in terms of the roles. Maybe it comes out differently, but I think Robert Pattinson made a good Batman. Uh, Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg join Call of Duty movie. JC, he got the DC gig because of Watchmen and 300, which were shot for shot remakes of the comics. Almost. I mean, he didn't quite do it with the Watchmen, but yeah. Alex Ogle, Snyder's Watchmen was visually arresting, but the story was an utter mess and didn't even approach the source material. I don't know. I thought he got close with it. I think if he had just ended it, if he had had that focus on the ending in the comic with Rorschach's diary, I think he might have pulled it off, but Rorschach was so great that James Earl, what's his name? Jackie Earl Haley, so good as Rorschach, though. JC, Affleck was a terrible choice for Batman. Robert Pattinson was an even worse choice. I like him. I like Matt Reeves' Batman. He gets to do detective stuff. Alex Ogle, Pattinson was a surprisingly good Batman. I had hoped for more from him. Yeah, he's just sitting there. I don't know why they're the rumor was that Matt Reeves was sick, and it got all jammed up because of his illness. It may have something to do with corporate fighting over if they're going to have two Batmans, which James Gunn apparently wants. They're going to have a DCU Batman, and they're going to have Matt Reeves Batman, which I think is stupid. It should just be Robert Pattinson Batman. Just give him a bunch of money and do it. And instead of doing a friggin' Penguin show or a Clayface show, do a Batman show. And then build to a movie, then do a Batman movie. We'll see it all. All those things we would see. The Batman TV show would be the biggest TV show Warner Brothers ever had. It would break their platform. People everywhere would go, okay, now I have to get HBO Max so I can see the Batman show. It would be unbelievable. The popularity would be through the roof on a show like that. And you spin that into 10 episodes building up to a movie, forget it. That's what they should do. JC, Watchmen was basically the comic with the ending tweaked a bit. Yeah, that's the part I didn't like. But it was damn close. It was damn close. I don't know. You know, Razor Fist doesn't like Alan Moore. But I think Alan Moore... They say all great art is unconscious. I think Alan Moore accidentally created a classic with that comic. Clint Miller, Stranger Things. Those kids are grandparents now. Yeah, they're definitely gotten older. I just bowed out of it. I love the first season. Second season, I kind of start drifting out, and then I couldn't even get into the third season. I think they dragged their feet way too much on some of the plot points. Basically, the fifth season is just tying back to the original monsters. It's like, you could have done that in the second season. But they just drag everything out, I think. Alex Ogle, at JEC, I have to disagree. The story is nothing without the pirate sub-story to juxtapose the main plot. And Dr. Manhattan's backstory wasn't touched when it was key to his motivation. And it focused too much on the murders and not on Ozymandias' scheming. I wanted more of that. I definitely wanted more of Ozymandias' scheming. JC, at Alex Ogle, the pirate stuff didn't need to be there. I had to agree with JC. Yeah, the pirate stuff, I didn't even read it in the comic. I mean, I read some of it, and then I just got bored. I was like, what the hell, man? What's happening is too much. It was like, I think there's a, like, isn't there an extended cut with all the pirate stuff? Because I think he shot it. I think there's an extended cut. Like, it wasn't in the regular theatrical release, but I think it's in the extended cut, right? But I can understand why they cut it. The pirate stuff. It was like, it's just too much. I think it was just too much for a movie. You know, it might have made a better miniseries, like maybe a one season series, if you did everything. JC, there isn't any Ozymandias' scheming in the original. The whole point is the surprise twist that it was Ozzy the whole time. Yeah. Well, there's kind of hints at it, but yeah. They have an extended cut with the pirate stuff animated. All right. Some more on Doctor Who. Here's some more Sydney Sweeney. But we have to look at Avengers Doomsday. First clear look at Doctor Doom, right? Now we're going to look at Sydney Sweeney. She is eating a hot dog with her hot friend. And there's her boobs. Nice. And here is Doctor Doom. No boobs. Post-millennial, woman arrested after threatening to blow up Lipscomb University over Charlie Kirk Memorial. It's a lot of people with their brains cooked. And they're all going to be arrested. Hopefully before they do something stupid. And this was big. I don't know if I talked about this earlier. But Scott Adams took a turn for the worse and had to go to the ER today. He didn't do his normal show. He does a show every day. And he posted on X that he needs help. He wants to get this experimental drug. It's not approved yet, so he could try it because he has advanced prostate cancer. And so he called out to President Trump. Trump said, and you know, like a year ago, you know, if you need help, let us know. And Trump tweeted back on it, and RFK tweeted at him, and he got in touch with his doctor, and so apparently they're trying to facilitate his insurance company approving the this other drug that only works, or I don't even know if they know it works. You know, it's like a right to try thing. So hopefully Scott, you know, has a little longer to live. JC, honestly, I didn't know what Moore was going for with the pirate stuff when I read the comic, other than they wouldn't have the superhero comics in a world with actual superheroes. Didn't he learn his lesson with experimental drugs? Apparently not. LeMay, oh no, I did not know he was sick. Yes, he's had prostate cancer, and he announced this, gosh, I guess it was last year, I want to say. And he actually lined up his own self-deletion a few months back because he was in such pain. But then the doctor offered him a testosterone blocker. And he took that, and it relieved all his pain. So he canceled his self-deletion, and because he was feeling much better. And so for a while, he was doing pretty well. He wasn't in pain, and he was able to do his show, and, you know, life returned to normal. But more recently, he has been unable to draw. He's having problems with his hand, which is, a bad sign that the cancer had advanced. So he couldn't draw, and he was having trouble drawing. He only had the use of like 2 fingers on one of his hands, and so that was a bad sign. And then this happened today. So, and I guess it was last night he said he was going to ask Trump for help, because I guess he was in rough shape. But I watched his show from the day before he went in, and he seemed okayish then, but he's had the prostate cancer for a while, so it just keeps going, doesn't really stop, unfortunately. So he has been monitoring like all the experimental drugs that they're coming out to turn the tide on cancer, and basically offering himself up as a guinea pig to ones that he thinks might help him. So this is one. I don't know how he determined this particular drug would be the one for him to try, but hopefully he gets it, and hopefully it helps him. So we'll see what happens on Monday. Maybe we'll get a tweet. That Park Place. Forbes reveals Disney's deleted Willow series budget hit $17 million per episode. That's effing ridiculous, man. I mean, that's not as ridiculous as the Alkalite. They spent more. I forget how much they spent. They spent an insane amount of money on it. I think it was over 20. Because I think didn't the Alkalite cost like $250 million for all the episodes? Something like that. Clint Miller. My father had a successful prostate cancer treatment. He turns 98 tomorrow. Wow. What? Wow, that's very impressive. Good for him. Happy birthday to him. Well, that's encouraging. Maybe he'll make a complete turnaround. I can't imagine spending this kind of money on a show and it sucks. I just can't imagine it. How do you even greenlight something that you know sucks this bad? And how do you not know it sucks? How do you shoot a show that's so bad you won't even air it? How? That you take it off your platform, it's so bad. It stinks so bad. It's like, how do you do that? It's just crazy. How do you not watch the show and go, oh, nobody's going to watch this. Nobody's going to like this. It's like, imagine you create a show and the whole show is a guy, I don't know, kicking puppies or something. And like everybody who watches the show just, they're uncomfortable and they can't even finish an episode. Like, that's what it's like. It's like you greenlit that. Hollywood and Vine at Disney's Hollywood Studios ends Disney Junior's character meals. Okay. So now they're not even feeding their staff. They must be running out of money or something. Clint Miller, Daily Wire's superhero movie, The Hyperions, was a real suckfest. Well, for Daily Wire, I mean, those guys are at least newish at making movies. They should stick to comedy, actually. They're actually not bad at comedy. But, there's no excuse for Disney to screw up Willow. Like, none. The movie was a huge hit. You could just watch the movie and go, oh, okay, I can see what people like in this. We'll do more of that. But instead, they made it diverse. Alex Ogle. Warwick Davis was great on Ricky Gervais' Life Too Short. Other than that, best to keep him off the screen. Like, if I was going to make a Willow series, I would have made it fun. I would have made it a fun series about adventure. No, no, it wasn't a hit. JC, was Willow a hit? I thought it bombed. Did I say it was a hit? No, no, it was an absolute mess. I just don't know how you could make it a hit, though. It's not that hard. I mean, you could just make it inoffensive. I mean, it'd be easy to make it watchable. Clint Miller, Warwick was a great leprechaun. Why Taylor Sheridan left Paramount? David Ellison reportedly didn't want him. Paramount never made a counteroffer. Wow. That's surprising considering all the hits he's had. And they gave him $1 billion to leave, too. That's the amazing thing. $1 billion. Imagine being offered that. Let's see if they have the deets here. According to the Hollywood Reporter, NBC Universal rolled out a deal worth as much as $1 billion for Taylor Sheridan, Paramount, under new boss David Ellison, didn't even counter. How do you not counter that? He's the guy who had your hits. Yellowstone, 1923, Tulsa King, Lioness, I don't know about that one. It's just crazy. He's like the one guy is keeping you afloat and you let him go? All right. JEC. How are you going to make Willow without Val Kilmer? Oh, he's dead? Excuses, excuses. You could just... There's one or two options. You recast. But, you know, Willow's older. So, Kilmer's character would be older. So, it would be easy to recast him. Or you just find a new guy. And make a new character. And then, you know, he's essentially the same sort of guy. It would make sense that his character would be dead. Or... you know, not with him. But you just make a bunch of new characters. You just build the whole show around Willow. And, you know. Alex Ogle at Clint Miller agreed. The best Irish accent is the bad parody of one. I don't know how they let this guy go, but I guess they just don't want to pay the money. Breitbart. Here's more on Jennifer Lawrence. Says criticizing Trump adds fuel to the fire, ripping country apart. Celebrities don't make a difference who they vote for. Aaron De Niro says Dad Robert De Niro has been nonstop supportive of his transition. How does a guy who plays the Godfather, you know, and plays a bunch of ruthless gangsters, but his real life, his son is trans? How does that even happen? John Nolte, October box office hit record low due to movies no one asked for. So, October's a record low. This weekend's a record low. In 1998, the October box office grossed $455.6 million. In October 1997, the gross was just $385.2 million. Okay, bad, right? But those 97-98 grosses do not account for inflation. If you adjust for inflation, that $455 million jumps to 906, and 385 is actually 779. This October's 425 million is even a bigger catastrophe during a year when we were assured the box office would make a big comeback. Here are the flops. Tron Ares, flop. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, flop. The Smashing Machine, flop. Black Phone 2, modest success. Begonia, flop. Chainsaw Man, flop. Is that a flop? Hold the phone there. I don't think that one's a flop. Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I don't think that one's a flop, man. How's Chainsaw Man a flop? Why did I even go here? I should just go back to the front. $129 million? You're telling me this is a flop? No, we don't know what it cost. It might be. LeMay, what? Yeah, I can't imagine this is a flop. I mean, in Japan, it made $46 million. JC, Chainsaw Man did amazing for a foreign film animated movie. Unless this thing cost, you know, it would have to cost how much? It would have to cost over 60 million? And I don't think it did, because this is Japan. They make cartoons in their sleep. So I bet this didn't cost 60 million. They made Godzilla for 15 million. I think he's wrong on that one. Roofman, flop. Anemone, flop. After the Hunt, flop. Kiss of the Spider-Woman, flop. Okay. Tell me who these movies are for. Well, Chainsaw Man is clearly for the anime fans and Japanese. Let's see. Tron Ares, for Tron fans. Springsteen, we talked about. The Smashing Machine, MMA fans, rock fans. Begonia, no, that's one, yeah. Like, who's the audience? Roofman, it's women. Anemone, art house types. After the Hunt, maybe women, art house. Kiss of the Spider-Woman, musical fans. I mean, he's right. It's bad, but yeah, I don't think he should have included Chainsaw Man in that. I would say you're wrong on that, John. Nicki Minaj says she'd be honored to speak with Trump's UN ambassador. Who the hell wants to speak to you? Go back to acting like a moron on the internet and making your stupid album. Zachary Levi says, God called to me to act in notoriously difficult industry. Okay. Singer Tish Hyman demands all 50 states enforce women-only spaces. Tennessee, Texas already passed bathroom bills. We need that S in LA. Yeah, something needs to be done because, again, you know, I don't have anything against trans people, but there are people taking advantage of this to do weird things. So, just, you know, you make new bathrooms single occupant, or at least have one single occupant bathroom so you can accommodate anyone, essentially. And then, you know, have a regular men's and women's restroom. LeMay, they asked her. Billie Eilish backs Newsom's gerrymander to disenfranchise voters because suddenly Billie Eilish has to get deep into the weeds on California politics. Who cares? Listen to Jennifer Lawrence. No one cares. Robert De Niro promoted a new site called Defiance.org, which is supposed to help you resist Trump. Let's see. Let's go to it and see what it looks like. See if it comes up. Defiance. Defy Trump together. All right. What can I do? We built a club to answer that question. Each month we will give you options to fight back peacefully, lawfully, defiantly against Trump's authoritarian takeover. You choose what missions to support. Then we can take action together. A club for courageous Americans. Oh, this is going to make it worse. Hold on. Excuse me a sec. Oh. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Phew. Sorry, needed that. LeMay. Nikki thanked Trump for speaking out on the Nigerian Christians getting murdered by Islamic extremists. Uh-oh. I think I just gave myself a nosebleed. Hold on. Yep, I did. So the Trump admin reached out to her. Ah. All right. So here is Robert De Niro's site, or I guess it's not his site. This has got to be the Democrats. This is 100% the Democrats. Come on. You have to sign the declaration, which does nothing. You join the club. Members pledge a monthly amount or any amount from $1 to $1,000 for democracy. Yeah, for the Democrats, going right into their pocket. Pick a cause. Each month, members receive a private briefing highlighting urgent actions and trusted causes. You pick what to support. Uh-huh. Yeah, in other words, they'll tell you where to go protest and what to say and what the latest narrative is. Alex Ogle, 'tis the season, Tony. I gave myself a nosebleed during the last week. I've been getting nosebleeds recently. Like, I worry that I could bleed out. That's how much blood was coming out of my head at one point. JC, sign the declaration, aka give us your email for our mailing list. Yeah, I'm getting emails, and I never sign up for these. The only one I signed up for because I gave Trump $10 for his. I thought he was going to sue the government and get a recount in 2020. So I sent him $10 to do that. I wanted him to do that. So I got on the Trump list. But now, somehow, I got on the Mikey Sherrill list, who's the Democratic candidate for New Jersey's governor. And now she's sending me stuff, and I had to block it all. Take action. Then we fund the top causes you support, I guess, and provide new ways for members to defy Trump's authoritarian takeover. Ding! It actually says that. Ding! Okay. Do something real. Speak out. Call Congress. Sound the alarm. Stand with targets? Stand with targets? I don't like the sound of that. Support independent media, and you're not independent at all. That is a lie, I believe. Join a protest, of course. Sue Trump. Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Sue Trump. Clint Miller. Political retaliation bad. Sure. So unwarranted attacks to discredit a political opponent is good? Featured action. Take Trump to court. Democracy Defenders Fund. Look at all the names for all these groups. The DDF is at the forefront of lawsuits defending against authoritarian and political retribution. When the regime abuses power and breaks the law, DDF sues them. They've been at the center of cases to protect federal workers who have been fired, critics who have been muzzled, and groups who have been persecuted. All right, back up. Federal workers being fired? That's exactly what we want him to do. That's exactly why we elected him. And that's exactly his job. He runs the federal government. He gets to fire people. Why would you sue him over doing his job? It makes no sense. If you never fire any government workers, the government will never, ever, ever, ever change. And we will be constantly paying these people to do things that maybe we don't need done. Critics who have been muzzled. Name one. Name one. And groups who have been persecuted. Again, name one. Other than federal workers. I bet that would be one. Why we like this. Oh, wait. Where you can take action. DemocracyDefendersFund.org. So now they're sending you to a different site. Why we like this. The courts have been one of the few guardians that so far have limited ability of the White House to retaliate against law firms, universities, industries, individual critics, nonprofits, and beyond. No, it's because the only place left full of Democrat appointees is the judiciary. And those guys are political enough to abuse their power to keep doing these lawsuits, which we have to keep paying for. Every time Trump tries to initiate a policy, you guys, you idiots, sue him, and it's temporarily stopped. But it's always flipped back over 90% of the time. I think a couple of times he completely lost, but... All right. I think the blood is done. Ugh. Whew. This is all from Robert De Niro. Get Congress to stand up. Now, that's a little different. Your congressmen should stand up for you. Do they? Well, part of the problem is Congress abandoned a lot of its abilities to check the president during times when, for instance, during the Bush administration. I watched the Democrats fritter away what power they had in Congress and let Bush do anything he wanted. Why? Because they were worried about the political retaliation and looking un-American at the time. They were petrified of looking un-American. Remember the whole thing about the controversy about French fries? Oh, we're going to rename French fries American fries because we're retarded. So now suddenly, and the Democrats really did agree with the war, which is why they pretended like, well, we can't do anything. We don't have enough votes. No, they didn't want to do anything because politically it wouldn't have ended well for many of them. Except if they were principled people, they might at least risk it. But they weren't. And many of them are long gone out of Congress anyway. But so represents us, another group. How many of these guys actually are funded by George Soros, I wonder? How many of these groups? Has launched the Congressional Courage Campaign. Note all the language here, right? So you're a great person. See, you're a courageous American if you do all this. To urge representatives to hold the executive branch accountable. Yeah, that ship sailed a while ago because you morons. Yeah, these are the same idiots who wanted, the Democrats wanted to end the filibuster. Remember when they wanted to end that? Oh, we're going to end the filibuster. We're going to end it. And everybody said, oh, don't do that. Now Trump wants to end it. He shouldn't do that, by the way. Clint Miller, courts shop for a judge who will do your bidding. Indie Phantom, I went to grab a sub and you're still live. What time is it? Oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. I got to wrap up. Soros sounds like an AI program. All right. How many more things are here? Oh my God, it's just endless. Defend targets of revenge. Whistleblower.aid.org. Oh, there's De Niro. Defy like De Niro. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be at the front of those protests. I'm sure he's going to be donating so much of his money to these causes. Uh-huh. What? I did the video. What? I got to give you money now? I got to give you money? You didn't tell me I had to give you money. Well, here's $7. I got $7 in my wallet. Is what? What more? All right. Yeah, I should wrap this up. Indie Phantom went out for a sandwich, and I'm still going on. I'm sorry I got all political for a couple of minutes. Oh, LeMay, Sora with an A is AI. That's right. Soros is George Soros. Or are you making a joke, probably? Cynthia Nixon headlines Gays for Zoran rally as Mamdani meets with Ugandan official behind the law to jail gays for life. So that's what celebrities do when they get involved in politics. Indie Phantom, talk about someone who tanked my image of him, De Niro. Moron. Yeah, I watched him in that Sebastian Maniscalco movie. What the hell's it called? I think it's called About My Father, where he plays his dad. And he actually kind of was okay in that, but that was at least a comedy. But LeMay, oops. All right. And, George R.R. Martin's copyright lawsuit against OpenAI gains traction in court. So, yeah, George R.R. Martin, if he's not going to write his books, can at least help authors out by suing the AI guys so they don't completely steal everything, I guess. Indie Phantom, I will still watch his old stuff. He usually played villains anyway. Alexander Ogle, gays for Muslims seems like turkeys for Christmas or a delivery service. Yup, it's exactly what it is. Taxi Drivers, forever movie, says Indie Phantom. Yeah, it sure is. And I like to think he was like a completely different person then too, right? He was a younger guy. He probably wasn't caught up in all this stuff. The world was different. People were normal. Indie Phantom, AI will finish his books for him. It could. It won't be great, but it could finish it. I was talking today to some of the other authors how I tried to use AI to make web comics, and I just couldn't get it to work. I had to do so much of the work myself, and the results weren't great. I haven't done it in a while, but I think I might go back and try it again just for the hell of it. All right, I'm going to wrap it here. So what have we learned today? Well, Robert De Niro is, of course, on the list of people who have probably ruined himself with politics. Jennifer Lawrence is sort of pulling back, which is good to hear because she's still hot. And like Michael Rappaport, who just had the wrong personality to be a total libtard, he's now kind of on the side of Trump, sort of, because, he's such a big proponent of Israel, and Trump has done so much for Israel in the past couple of years. He finally realized, I gotta at least be neutral towards him. And so maybe, Jennifer is sort of going down that road a little bit. Indie Phantom, AI might give Game of Thrones a better ending than HBO did. Well, that's true. Any AI could. Indie Phantom, Harrison Ford went full idiot. He certainly did. And I burned a pot again. Which reminds me, I gotta go scrub that thing and see if I can make my iced tea. Uh, and we also learned Alex Ogle has more pitches uh, with Livy Dunn in a bikini. Again, work that in. Work that in more. I like that. What's coming up for me? In the following week, not as much because it sadly Halloween is finally over. But Thursday, I'll be going to. Can't read my own handwriting. Oh, that's Crosswicks. Crosswicks. I'm going to Crosswicks Library. Very historic. Crosswicks was the village in New Jersey where Daniel Leeds, the patriarch of the Leeds family and grandfather of the Jersey Devil, lived and had a falling out with the Quakers, which kind of started the whole thing. So I'll be there at 6 p.m. on Thursday for my talk on how to hunt a Jersey Devil. On Saturday, I'll be in Clearbrook. Clearbrook? I can't read my own handwriting on my calendar. I'll go to the website. Clearbrook Adult Community Craft Fair in Monroe, New Jersey. Not too far where I was today in Williamstown from 11 to 2. So that's what I'm doing in the upcoming week. So hope to see those of you in the New Jersey area there. And so things are slowing down, getting into the holidays. So Sunday, the live stream will be back at 7. So don't worry. Hopefully there'll be some movies to talk about. I really got to consider looking at some sort of Nielsen ratings thing for streaming to rate movies now, because I don't know if the box office is going to do it anymore. Indie Phantom says, have a good evening, all. Have a good week, everybody. Clint, I'm glad you're feeling better. I hope you continue to recuperate and can see more. And prayers for Scott Adams. I hope he recovers. And hopefully the government shutdown will end very soon. And then the Copyright Office will reopen so I can get my copyright for book 19 of the Pineys, so it can come out this month. I'm a little worried they'll jam everything up and I won't get it out until like Black Friday or something, but hopefully it'll be out soon. I'll keep you posted. Alex Ogle, have a great week, Tony and all. Yes, have a great week, Alex Ogle. Joan says, have a great week, everybody. She's giving me a evil eye because she's been lying on the floor just waiting to go OUT. All right. I'm going to type in good night all, as I often do. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you. Well, Alex Ogle, Tony is coming out this month? No, I'm not. What are you talking about? Oh, smash like and subscribe and all that good stuff on your way out. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Do.